Well, hello and welcome, and we have an exciting race in store for you tonight. Thank you for joining the Performance Motor Network and Global Racing Esports Network. We definitely are so excited to have everyone here join us on this wonderful Saturday night for this 200 lap race with the Xfinity cars. I mean, these guys have been really lighting the sim world on fire. We've just been putting in great performances every week, and it's just exciting racing. And I'm joined in the booth right now by Michael Lester. How are you doing, Mr. Michael Lester?
Man, I am doing great. I'm excited, man. Not only do I get to come up here and do another broadcast with you, but I get to watch some exciting racing at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Man, this track has been so much fun. I've done a lot of races on it in the truck series, getting ready for that truck race tomorrow. And this track is so fast that you're just 25 laps. You're just going all out as much as you can do. It's fast track. Everybody loves Las Vegas. Can't wait to see the ending of this race.
Yeah, we have a long way to go before we get to the ending, though, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of exciting racing in between here and there. Um, got to think that tonight's probably going to be a lot about tires. Do you think tires are going to be a big deal here tonight with these race cars? As these guys have a little bit over 2 minutes left in practice. What do you think, Lester, about the sets of tires? Do you think that's going to be an important factor?
I think the most important factor in this race is going to be your setups. If you have that wrong setup, and you will get tight really quickly, and you will chew up the tires, and then probably after 10, 15 laps, you're going to be wishing that there's a caution comes out so you can get 4 fresh ones. If you put the right setup on there and you're able to save them tires, you're definitely going to be loving this race towards the middle of it, or middle of a run when everybody else is getting a little tight, and you're still able to get around these turns. So tires make a big factor, but it's going to be the setup that makes the biggest factor.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely see that being the case for sure, especially with these cars. I mean, I think setup is so important when it comes to these particular vehicles. I mean, a lot of people, think that, these cars have the reputation of being very difficult to drive. I mean, usually a mile and a half track, you feel like, oh, that's going to be easy. But with these Xfinity cars, that really ramps it up and makes it not so easy. Like you said, tight, probably going to be the name of the game here tonight. A lot of these guys are going to be getting tight in the corners, and do you think maybe we'll see some guys starting to move up to the top lane, or do you think it's going to be pretty much all dominant on the bottom?
Well, Las Vegas. Now I'm taking all my information based off of what I've seen in the trucks. You can run that top lane. It gets a lot of speed coming off the turns on turn 2 and turn 4. You can get a lot of speed coming off those turns. Again, it depends on where your setup likes to run. Some setups will, if you try to run that low side, you're going to get a lot more looser than you would into the middle to the top lane. So it just depends on how you like to run your car, what lane you really want to run in.
Yeah, sounds about right. I mean, I think it also probably, just like you mentioned just a second ago about the setup, I think that's probably also going to be a big factor on where your car is going to be capable of running. And one thing that, if this thing goes green, there is a lot of potential. I think even if we do have a couple cautions, so we're still going to end up probably seeing a green flag pit stop at some point. I know you have experience with the trucks. Is it difficult to get down pit road in those? I mean, I'm sure it's even more probably difficult in these cars.
Yeah, so I haven't had much trouble in the pitting with the trucks, but from what I've been told by these drivers in the drivers meeting, that it's real tricky to get into a green flag pit stop at Las Vegas. You definitely got to get down under that I think it's 55 miles an hour, and take care of of getting down in there, because you can turn that car around really quick.
Yeah, definitely seems like it'd probably be easy to lock those tires up or something like that, or you go from going 170, 180 mile an hour down to the speed limit here. What is it, at 55, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, but I do believe it's 55 miles an hour down this pit road. And like you said, these cars, you're going 180 miles. You just can't get down to 55 miles on a dime without losing control of the car.
Well, I think the name of this race is appropriately named All In, and I think that's what a lot of these guys are going to be, putting their chips all in here tonight. Considering, I mean, I think last week we saw some of the teams struggling, I'd say, at Auto Club. So I feel like a lot of these guys are going to be trying to, I think they put their heads to the grindstone to try to get their cars set up just perfectly. Because I mean, I feel like some of them were struggling a little bit last week. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, and we had some drivers up in the front uh, in the early parts of that race during when it was still daylight out and you still had sun on the track. And as it conditioned over into night, they started struggling with their cars. Where somebody else who was struggling in the early running was having a pretty good run at the end. Tristan Evil, our winner last week, uh, you didn't see him up into the front until that till the night came over the track, and he got better. This is going to be all during the day. The track is only going to get hotter as we go on here. There's going to be no break in the sun. It's all daylight, so you got to work on that setup all through the race.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to be one of the big things. I mean, and you know how difficult it is to actually lay in those adjustments as you work on that car. I mean, especially when you're on the track. This is not a track where you can kind of look down at that black box and make those adjustments quickly, without maybe losing a little bit of speed, or, if you're side by side with another car, very difficult to make those adjustments. That's one thing I've always found difficult myself in, racing and iRacing. If I ever want to make a change, or even just, make it so I don't get as much fuel, just to limit the amount of time I spend on pit road. It does take, your attention away from the driving itself. And that's one thing we're going to have to probably keep an eye on here, is it looks like Tristan Evil taking the pole. Brian Ricker up in second right now. We still have a little over 2 minutes left in qualifying, though, so plenty of opportunity for some of these other guys to come up here and maybe, show their speed. And one thing about it, even though, this is probably going to be all throughout the day, I think the track conditions still will be changing, and maybe in qualifying, as we get closer and closer to the end of qualifying, could cool the track down a tiny bit. We've seen that time and time again. Maybe a guy last minute could get the pole. We'll have to wait and see.
Right now, Michael Thorpe is in that 34 Chevrolet, is out there and running his laps. Daniel Hendry just broke into the top three right behind Brian Ricker. Daniel Hendry, I think this is his first race racing for the Xfinity. He was signed at the beginning of the year, and I do believe this is the first race that he is actually able to make. So,
definitely glad to see him out there in that 25 machine. I think it does say 71 on his car, so that might be a little confusing. But I mean, we do know he is officially in the 25 and got a nice looking car, and hopefully we'll see him do well. I mean, it's something when you don't race all season, and you come in here and you're able to snag third place. That's pretty impressive, I got to say. I mean, especially I'm wondering how he's going to do when it comes to some of the other guys out there. I mean, one thing about Global I think we've seen time and time again is, guys get used to racing around each other. When, a new guy kind of comes in, it takes them a little bit of time to figure out how everybody around them races.
Yeah, exactly. You see some drivers out here like Jeffrey Weimer and Steve Gerber, Ricky Hudgens, Ricky Montgomery. These guys have been pretty much racing with Global, same guys down there in the trucks for 3-4 seasons now. They pretty much know what that guy's going to do. Now you bring in people like Mike Hayes or Daniel Hendry, or let me see if I can find another new guy here.
Derek Rice.
Derek
he's a new
Rice,
one too. Yeah.
You just don't know how these guys are going to race. You don't know if they're aggressive. You don't know if they're cautious, and not knowing is a lot dangerous. But we're finished up qualifying, and I'll finish my statement though. But like we said, if you don't know how that driver is driving, it's a little risky driving around them. But I think all these guys, all these owners have done a good job of bringing in these new drivers and be able to watch a good race tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for what we've seen, some of the new drivers have been some of the best out there. Been going toe to toe with some of the legends, I guess, veterans. I should say. But like you said, the grid has been set. Everybody's starting to grid up right now, and we'll go ahead and do a rundown of the field. Tristan Evil in that 17 going to be starting on the pole. Brian Ricker in second place on the outside pole. Third place is going to be Daniel Hendry. Fourth place, Stephen Hayes. Fifth place, Christopher Bessinger. Sixth place, Jeremy Kors. Seventh place, David Holsey. 8th place, Michael Hayes. 9th place, Michael Thorpe. 10th place, Joshua Slade. And I'll let you finish out the rest of the field there, Lester.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. 11th place is going to go to Derek Rice. 12th is Don Blazer. 13th is Steve Gerber. Jeffrey Weimer in a 73 car is going to start 14th. Ricky Montgomery coming back from having last week off. He's going to start 15th, along with his new teammate EJ Luna starting in the 16th. Ricky Hudgens is going to be 18th, and Chuck Cobb is going to be 19th. And that is going to round us out. Two other drivers that are listed is Kenny Heath and Danielle Thompson, but neither one of those drivers will be out there on the track.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely a huge shout out should go out to them. I mean, Kenny Heath and Danny definitely huge parts of this league. I mean, even if they're not racing out here tonight, they're definitely going to be behind the scenes making sure everything goes smoothly here as we get ready to get this thing underway. Just waiting for the guys to pull off of the grid here, and excited to see what this is all going to entail. You know, we see Tristan Evil taking the pole. I mean, we saw last week how he, you know, like he said, his car got better as the run went on. The conditions changed. I'm curious if that's going to be the same thing here. And another part, we saw Brian Ricker. I mean, he's always been a great qualifier and has been one that runs pretty good. But I know he was one that was also struggling a little bit last week too.
I tell you what, I am looking forward to the day that Brian Ricker comes home in victory lane. He's been able to, like you said, he's been able to show up every week. He drives tremendously. He gets involved in somebody else's mess, or he just doesn't have that car that day to finish the job. But he's always up there, and man, I look forward to one day seeing him in victory lane.
Yeah, what really confuses me seeing Brian Ricker in the 22. You know, usually I'm used to seeing Ricky Montgomery in the 22. That throws me off a little bit, so I'm gonna have to definitely get used to that for sure. But we got Ricky Montgomery's actually in the 2, so maybe he likes that number better.
Well, I mean, like, you know, everybody came up here to the Xfinity, got signed, got their numbers, and Brian Rickers decided he wanted 22, so he was able to get it before Ricky Montgomery, but. You know, most of this is a close-knit family in here in Global, and everybody looks out and works with each other. So I don't think there's any ill there.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but definitely going to be interesting to see how that plays out here as the pace car dips down pit road. Tristan Evil has the field in hand, and it looks like he's going to wait right until the green flag to go. Probably a smart call here with the draft being so important.
Yeah, I think he waited a couple seconds longer than the green flag there.
Well, that's definitely going to give the chance here to Brian Ricker. I mean, he's got a good run there up on the top side, and we mentioned it before how the top side really has all the momentum, and it looks like we're seeing that early here is Brian Ricker getting a huge run up on the top, and he might be able to edge out the lead here, but I don't know. It looks like Tristan Evil going to get the run through 4 here.
Yeah, Tristan Evil is going to have a slight advantage coming to the start-finish line to lead that lap.
Don Blazer having a problem. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Don Blazer has a problem. He's down on the apron. He went through the grass.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go back and we're going to...
That's unfortunate to see that from him. I'm curious what exactly happened there.
I will tell you here in a second. See what...
Still some side-by-side racing going on in this pack. I see, I do believe, Derek Rice and Christopher Bessinger fighting right now for 7th place. Side-by-side drag racing right now. They're getting a little loose. You can just tell that these cars are just so on edge. So I wouldn't be surprised if Blazer lost it all on his own. I mean, one thing about,
that's exactly what happened. Went back and looked at it. His car just got loose coming off the turns, and he tried to correct it going on the straightaway. And like we said last week, when you correct the car, whichever way you're pointing, when those tires gain traction back, that's the way you're going. And he went loose and got into the grass. But I think he saved it, no damage, and he's back on the track and trying to muscle his way back up here to the pad.
Yeah, definitely. He did a good job. Even like you said, he didn't hit anything, and that's what's mainly the most important thing. I mean, you mentioned it perfectly, hit the nail right on the head. That's something we've been seeing all week here, even at Vegas. I mean, as soon as you try to overcorrect that machine, it could shoot right out in front of the into the pack. And I've seen that, in other leagues too this week, a ton. So good on him to be able to keep that out of his friends out there, because I mean, you don't want to make any of those guys mad, especially we're only on race 3 of the season,
Yeah.
as we see the 7
he
trying
was,
to work his way up
yeah, he was
to
back
David
there
Holsey.
racing. He was back there racing with Ricky Hudgens and EJ Luna and Jeffrey Weimer and Chuck Cobb. If it could have been a lot worse, he made it through with no problems, and everybody got around him. Right now, we got a challenge for the second place.
Yeah, Stephen Hayes trying to make something happen here in that 13 car. Love that paint scheme, red, white, and blue. Love the American pride. As he does take over second. Very good run there from Stephen Hayes, able to take that spot from the 22. And so now I do believe the 25 of Daniel Hendry going to be trying to set his sights on that third position, which I do believe he's fallen back a little bit himself.
I'm not sure, but I think he is unsponsored in that 25 car.
Definitely might be someone that these guys, any sponsors out there might need to try to talk to him to get their
well, he's definitely
get on his car.
Yeah, he's definitely on one of them teams that deserves. You got Lunatic Racing over there with Jeremy Kors, Tristan Evil. Definitely got the team to be for a good sponsorship.
And you can see a lot of these guys running some different lines. And I think it all comes down to clean air. I think that these guys are kind of running, not trying to run directly behind each other, because clean air is such a key here. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Tristan Evil pull away a little bit because of the clean air. It does not look like that is the case. Looks like those guys are right there on him.
Right now, the battling is between Brian Ricker and that 25 of Daniel Hendry, along with Jeremy Kors and Derek Rice right there behind him as well.
And we got a challenge for the lead here, too. Yeah. For just a moment, there was a challenge for the lead. But it looks like Stephen Hayes got a little bit tight there. And unfortunately, he lost some momentum out of that, that's for sure. You can see that, if you don't line up the pass just perfectly, you could easily get a tight condition, slow yourself down, and put you under fire from a lot of the other drivers behind. But it looks like he was able to gather that momentum back up, and now he's going to try to work his way back up. Tristan Evil, try it again. That's one thing this whole race. I mean, if this is going to be an experiment for a lot of these guys here. If we see the side-by-side racing right behind them for third position, Brian Ricker still under fire from Daniel Hendry.
Yeah, Brian Ricker has the third spot. Daniel Hendry has been trying for 3 laps, looking high, looking low, trying to get around the 22 of Brian Rickers. Is unable to do it. He tucks right back into that third and fourth place right there with Jeremy Kors and Derek Rice still right there. I think they're all just kind of playing cat and mouse right now. They're in the sights. If you're in the sights of the leader, that means you can actually take the lead. Jeremy Kors, I think he's just trying to save his tires and maybe do a late run push.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprising coming from a guy like Jeremy Kors. I mean, he usually is very good at taking care of his equipment.
Most definitely.
Wouldn't be a surprise. I mean, he's always been one of the best drivers, I think, in Global, and he shows it. Every time he steps onto the track, whether he wins the race or he gets the top 5. I mean, of course, everybody has their bad moments, but it looks like Derek Rice may be under fire a little bit too here, as we see Christopher Bessinger trying to make something happen here.
Yeah.
And that is for 6th place, but just not able to get there. I think that's the story of the night. Just not able to get there.
It is. I mean, it's especially on the early run and on that high side. That high side definitely has the momentum on that high side. Right now, we're just watching 13 getting the momentum on that low side there, trying to take the lead away from Tristan Evil.
Still just not able to get there. I think the ultimate defending line has got to be the top side. I mean, that's just where you want to go. If you're under fire, you just try to go up there, and you should be able to keep them from passing you. So
make them pass you underneath. If they got good cars, they're going to pass you underneath. Make them pass you underneath. Make them use those tires. And right now, I think this is going to be it. I think the 13th is going to finally get around the 17, but 17 is not going to go anywhere, and he gets that shot out on that top side coming down the back stretch.
Man, these guys are already racing very close. I mean, we have so much racing left to go, and these guys are already not giving hardly any room to one another. But it looks like, yeah, the 13 is going to take the lead here successfully. I mean, a lot of the guys behind him are probably taking some notes. They're writing some notes down on how can I do that, you know?
Now the big question is how is Tristan Evil's car going to react with a car in front of him?
Yeah, that's definitely very important point.
You know, we've seen
how dirty air.
Yeah, we've seen that in the past where Tristan Evil is so good when he's out there in front where there's nobody in front of him, but as soon as he gets somebody in front of him, his car goes south. So it's going to be a big test to see what Tristan Evil can do with dirty air right in front of him.
For sure, and it seems like he's definitely struggling here as he's now under fire by Brian Ricker. Brian Ricker right up on his back bumper. I would assume he's going to throw a move in on him at some point. I think the perfect passing zone, or the perfect passing place to do is got to be on the top. I mean, if you could find your way to get your nose above someone, I think that could be the way to pass someone. I mean, I've been seeing Michael Thorpe back in the further back here in 8th place. He keeps looking to try to get above people, but just not able to do so because a lot of people know that, you know, you could pass on the top if you're able to get up there. And a lot of the guys are trying to protect that.
And right now, Michael Thorpe is fighting with that number 11 car of Chris Basinger. That is going to be for the 8th spot, the 7th spot that Chris just took from Michael Thorpe. So you see,
getting really close here.
Yeah, you see some of these guys are already 17 laps, and we talked about it in the pre-race show there that, you know, if your setup is for a short run, you're really quick in those first 10 to 15 laps. Then after that, you start losing that tire wear. And, you know, like I said, if we have a lot of cautions, that short runs is good to have. But if we have a long green flag like we're having one right here, those setups are not very well.
No, I agree totally. I mean, you can see it, evidence right now to prove to your point in the lap times they're turning right now. I mean, looking at Stephen Hayes, I mean, 31.586 last time by. I mean, his best lap was a 30.264. That's over a second of fall off already. So tires are definitely a premium out here tonight. And I think based on, you know, your setup, how you manage that equipment is going to be key. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing right now from a lot of these guys. Maybe starting to fall off a bit. Now is that time to where the tires are going to be starting to wear, and your handling conditions are not going to be so good. And this is when really, like I said about, you know, experimentation when it comes to these guys, you know, figuring out what is wrong with my car, what kind of changes can I make. And I would assume that a lot of these guys are probably already laying in some changes right now as we speak.
Oh, most definitely. If you're somebody who has a crew chief, like say Chuck Cobb Racing, Dale Brooks right now is unable to race, but he's definitely on Discord, and he's already in these guys' ears saying, okay, this is what you guys need to change. We're tight. Okay, we're going to loosen it up by doing this. And so he's definitely, they got people out there that's watching over for him. And they're desperately going to have to try to make those changes in the race, or they're just going to keep on falling back. Another thing to think about is, right now, you see the 13th of Stephen Hayes just pulling away from the pack, but with him doing that, is he overusing his tires? Because there's going to be a second stage of these tires. Like some people's, like say Tristan Evil or Daniel Hendry, their tires are going to come back on that second stage, and his will probably go away at that end of that run. So don't ever think.
Oh, some contact with the wall. Almost some problems here. I do believe. Who is that? I do believe that is the 11.
Christopher Basinger in the 11 car. I did not see him hit the wall, but
definitely he's having some problems right now. You can see that he's having some conditions. That car is all over the place right now. So I think that he's reached that point to, you know, he's definitely going to be laying in some adjustments, or maybe adjusting his driving style for the next run. Because these guys are definitely, I think a lot of these guys are starting to get really tight. You mentioned that before. I mean, tight is going to be the name of the game here tonight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At a place like Las Vegas where it's a fast track, tightness is not your friend. You definitely want to be on the looser side. Right now, Daniel Hendry in that 25, making his debut tonight, is catching that 13 car. Like I says, don't count any of these guys out, because if you're out front and you're pushing it to the extreme, you're using up tires more than, say, Daniel Hendry is, and it's showing right now. Daniel Hendry closing in on that 13 car.
Oh yeah, and he's much faster. I mean, looking at his lap times, you know, he's two to 3 tenths faster right now than Stephen Hayes every lap. So that is a big thing, and I think he's actually the fastest in the field right now. So I mean, he's definitely Daniel Hendry is sending a message to everybody out in this field that, hey, I have arrived.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's like you said, he's out here. He's making everybody notice him, sitting up here in second place, hunting down the leader. So definitely, I always like it when the new guys come in and just show up. All the guys that's been around here for a while. I mean, it's great, and it shows how global is growing and how much good racers that we're getting into this league.
We do have some battling going on a little bit further back in the pack. 7th place, Michael Thorpe trying to challenge the 6th position of Joshua Slade. But no, you're right. I mean, I think that really does show a lot here. And I think it pushes the veterans to do better. I mean, you see someone just show up and able to do this well. It pushes you to want to do better.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, my biggest thing is I never want to see one person win 10 races and just stink up the joint. Because if you tune in, okay, this guy's going to win. A Tristan Evo is going to win. Or a Jeffrey Weimer is going to win. I want it to be a guessing match of who's going to win this race. And the only way you're going to have a guessing match on who's going to win the race is you bring in a lot of good drivers with anybody has potential to win on any given Saturday.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys have that potential to win any given Saturday. And Joshua Slade right now challenging the 5th spot of Brian Ricker, and it looks like he's going to edge out in front just barely here. Ricker having the same issues I think he was having last week. I mean, it looks like, you know, he has a fast short-run car, just does not seem to have the pace on the long run. But, I mean, never count anybody out still, because, I mean, you never know. A caution could come out at the last part of this race, you know, and really make that short run valuable. But, you know, right now it seems like he's struggling.
Yeah, it seems like right now we're satisfied on going these long green runs in this Xfinity series. So, me personally, with my team, I tell them to work on the long runs. Get out there and try to get that setup that's going to last you long. Because you watch our races in Xfinity, and we have not had very many caution flags. We had, 2 last week at the end of the race, towards the end of the race?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was a very green race, 100%. And I do believe even the Daytona race, didn't that go green the whole time? I mean, like, I do believe it did.
I think we had some late cautions.
Well, I just know, yeah, you can count the amount of cautions we've had on one.
Daniel Hendry just is taking the lead over from the 13th of Stephen Hayes. New leader tonight, Daniel Hendry. I do believe I'm saying that name right.
Almost some problems back here. Tristan Evil getting very loose. Luckily, that did not cause an accident, but definitely has checked up a lot of these guys, and now they're really, you could throw a blanket over them, almost getting ready to go 3 wide. Michael Thorpe going to take him 3 wide on the top. 3 wide is not something you see very often at Vegas, but guess what? That's why we call this thing the All-In 300. People are going all in.
There you go. You got Michael Hayes back here, Michael Thorpe, Tristan Evil, Brian Ricker, Jeremy Kors. I'm not even looking at my list. I'm just looking at all these cars in this one frame. And, I mean, it's just, this is where the racing is, right back here in that 4th, 5th, or actually 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, 7th, 8th, all of them right here. Derek
all right up on top of each other. Looks like Jeremy Kors has managed to get to the front of this pack. He is in 3rd right now, but because these guys have been battling so hard, that has really, truly allowed that 1st and 2nd place car, you know, those cars to really get away. I mean, they have pulled out to over a second, you know, even probably almost 2 seconds. That is one thing that these guys, you know, fighting. You know, that's one thing I've always kind of talked about is you know, when you're fighting side by side a ton and you're fighting each other, you're letting those leaders get away. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing here. You know, you that temporary mindset, I got to get that position now. You know, when you really could be truly trying to work together a little bit, maybe squashing the beef for just a moment, just so you can catch those guys.
Well, dude, sometimes a car, like if I'm pulling up to a car and he's basically slowing me down because his tires are gone, I need to get around him, and it's hard because my tires are going too. So it's hard to get around these guys sometimes, as you see here right now. Looks like Mike Hayes is making or is that?
That's Michael Thorpe there, yeah, on the top.
I'm on a blimp mode, so I was trying to say that's Thorpe coming around and bringing Michael Hayes with him, going around Jeremy Coors.
And looking at Michael Thorpe's lap times, he's running some very quick lap times, actually quicker than Stephen Hayes up there in front. Oh, getting real close between Tristan Evil and Jeremy Coors. Those guys were getting. You could only fit a piece of paper between those guys.
Those are teammates, and Jeremy Coors is the owner of the team that Tristan Evil was. Racing is racing, but you definitely don't want to take your owner out.
No, definitely not. But one thing that they've always kind of talked about and prided themselves on was, you know, they are on a team. Even when they were on William Brown, they still race each other hard. Yeah. As we see Michael Hayes really starting to put it to Michael Thorpe here. Can he, get past Michael Thorpe here and maybe join his teammate up there, Stephen Hayes?
Okay. And I mean, Michael Hayes might be working with Michael Thorpe to do exactly what we had talked. Two fast cars linking up. Maybe they're working to try to get back up to Stephen Hayes and Daniel Hendry up there, and to make it a four-way battle for that lead.
And I think they will. I mean, looking at their lap times right now, they're faster than most of those guys in front. So I would not be surprised to see them actually catch up here. As Michael Thorpe doesn't have that much to go to get to Stephen Hayes. I mean, yeah, it's over a second, but with their pace right now, wouldn't be surprised to see them catch up fairly quickly. One thing we got to keep in mind, though, because we've been so green for this first part of the race, I mean, green flag pit stops probably are not long around the corner. I mean, these guys could probably make it, like 50 laps or so?
Yeah, I'm thinking anywhere between 45 to 50 laps, we'll start seeing some green flags. The people who have been struggling for these 37 laps, the ones that the car's just not right and been wanting to get into the pits to make some kind of changes, I would see them coming in around 42, 43 laps. When it can come into a window of making it on maybe 5 stops instead of 6.
Definitely still some battling going on here. Is still pretty much Jeremy Coors, Joshua Slade. I mean, Tristan Evil, all those guys still right up on top of each other. But it looks like they have started single filing out a little bit. Maybe have realized that, hey, we got to get this thing going for the long haul. Maybe the conditions of the cars are starting to make it to where we can't really run side by side as much as we want to. But it looks like Coors is going to be challenged by Joshua Slade. Slade's going to take over 5th place. Joshua Slade's been having a good race so far. I know that a lot of times he finds himself with some unlucky predicaments, but he's been doing good here in this race and looking to turn his season around.
Well, yeah, I think Jeremy Coors is suffering from what Joshua Slade suffered from last week. Have that early speed, and then on the late run, it's just not there. And Jeremy Coors is definitely one of those guys who'll be making changes going into this pit stop if he's able to make the changes under a green flag.
Yeah, that's easier said than done, as we said before. I mean, while you're out here trying to manhandle these cars that maybe aren't handling as good as you'd like, I mean, how are you going to make that change when you're so tight? I mean, you could be looking down at your black box and all of a sudden find yourself in the wall.
Yeah, that's the hard part. And a lot of these guys, I don't have it myself. I really would love to have it. But a lot of these guys have button boxes where they can make the changes based, just by hitting a button on one of these button boxes. And I wish I had one. Unfortunately, I do not. But it's really hard to make those changes that you need. Tire pressure, maybe a tape change, something in order to get what you need to get done on that green flag pit stops.
Yeah, and some of these guys maybe even have crew chief or some type of third-party app to where they can actually speak and it'll make those changes for them. I mean, I know a lot of people use things of that nature. It makes it a lot easier, that's for sure.
I do know Jeff Weimer uses it, and I was supposed to download it, and he was going to teach me about it and get it set up for me, because When I'm in my official races, the worst thing I can do is try to mess around with my black box under a green flag condition.
Oh, contact with the wall from Tristan Evil.
Oh, and we just talked about it. How well would he do?
Oh, big wreck here. We got David Holsey turned around the wrong way. Heavy front end damage on Brian Ricker. Is this going to be a caution?
Caution.
Yellow flag is out, and I do believe that would be a.
I think the caution all came because someone. I think David Holsey drove back up onto the track. I don't think that would have been a caution if he hadn't have done that.
Well, I'm back here looking on lap 42 with Brian Ricker was involved as well, and that I hate to see that because Brian Ricker. One of those racers we talked at, would love to see in victory lane here. Let's see what happened with him. He was right there with David Holsey. Oh, Brian Ricker hits the wall and comes down and collects David Holsey. Both of them go careening in, crashing into that inside wall. And like you said, David Holsey is the. Now,
I'm not sure why Holsey drove back onto the track. I mean, he could have just drove back on the apron and got that car turned around, but it looks like. I don't know. I mean, a little suspicious to me to do something like that.
I think, he spun around. He's just got involved in a wreck that was none of his making, along with, I think it was it's not one of his teammates, but one of his allies there. I definitely would not put it like he did on Thinking Purpose. And it also could have been a admin throwing caution. Now, Kenny Heath has the power to throw a caution if iRacing doesn't do it, if he feels it deemed necessary. So Kenny might have deemed it necessary in order to throw that caution. So
yeah, for sure, and definitely heavy damage on both of those machines. And looking, when I looked back at it, it looked like Brian Ricker kind of. Well, I remember I said Tristan Evil hit the wall. Pretty much as soon as Tristan hit the wall, Brian Ricker hit the wall right behind it. So it's almost, you see that a lot in racing. To where a guy follows another person into that wall. You kind of trying to follow whatever the line in front of you, and you know what I mean. Like I've done that so many times, follow someone into the wall.
Oh yeah, it's tunnel vision. You get locked into the back of that guy's bumper, and that's what you're chasing. You're chasing that back bumper. You want to get up to that back bumper. So sometimes when you watch that back bumper go up and hit the wall, for some reason your mind says, "Hey, you got to go up and hit that wall too." It's really weird, but it happens,
Oh, it definitely does. I mean, I could say it's happened to me quite a bit, and I think this is going to do a lot of good for some of these drivers, even though, yeah, unfortunate for Brian Ricker and David Holsey that happened, but it's going to be a lot of good for a lot of these drivers to get caught back up. We saw a lot of the gap spreading out, and it also, because that was a yellow flag, they probably, a lot of the guys had an easier time maybe laying in some adjustments, if they did have to make some adjustments, which I think a lot of the guys probably will.
Yeah, I definitely.
I'll tell you, somebody probably doesn't want to is Daniel Hendry. He's been looking strong.
Daniel Hendry definitely was strong, and he definitely probably did not want to see that yellow come out. But this is the way of racing, and definitely hate it for Brian Ricker, David Holsey, two of the really great guys of Global Racing League. Enjoy them guys immensely being in the league. Talk to David on a regular basis for. Through the course of the week. Great guy. Look forward to seeing him tomorrow at the Dale Brooks Classic over here in Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
And that's definitely going to be a legendary race there. One that is a classic global. Definitely love to see the Dale Brooks Senior Classic always making its return.
Yeah, doesn't matter what track we're racing. The Dale Brooks Classic. It's definitely a big race that everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to get up on the booth and congratulate Dale Brooks Sr. on a well-fought battle against lung cancer there, and always want to reach out to him and let him know he's definitely in our thoughts, and we're definitely glad that he's still in remission, and look for good results here on out.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's one thing I'm definitely very empathetic and sympathetic with because, I mean, my father had lung cancer, and of course he passed away. He did manage to beat it into remission, but kept on, he just kept right on smoking.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But, I mean, of course, it was such a hard thing to deal with. I mean, for him, I mean, it made him just, you hate to see your family members, in such a vulnerable position.
Oh, most definitely. I just lost an aunt to lung cancer. Uh, I don't know, about 3 months ago. I think we had the Aunt Marie Classic or Aunt Marie
Yeah, I
Memorial.
think I do remember that one. Yeah.
Yep, lost her to lung cancer. She was, well into her 70s and lived a really good life. Beautiful woman. Miss her on a daily basis, and but whenever you hear those stories about people like Dale Brooks Sr. Beating it and doing a good job of keeping it away, man, it gives hope to everybody else that everybody can beat this. And I do have
Yeah,
a
for sure.
message. Definitely, I have a message. Got a message from our pit road reporter, Kenny K. Smooth Heath. He threw the caution based off of them bouncing off the wall, and they got a little too close to the people that were already still racing on the track. So it was a good call. I agree with definitely agree with Kenny that a caution was definitely
Oh, that was a warranted caution.
definitely a
For sure. I mean,
warranted caution.
that was a huge one.
Yeah, definitely. Two cars crashing the inside, and you don't know how far they're going to bounce back or what's going to happen when they try to get their cars back in existence. So definitely good call on from Kenny there. And pace car is down in the pit road.
Yeah, definitely appreciate Kenny Smooth clearing that up for us, and definitely want to shout out everybody out there in YouTube land and Twitch land for watching us here and tuning in. As the racing has started once again, Daniel Hendry, very good restart there. A little bit of the opposite of what we saw with Tristan Evil. Didn't really wait. He kind of just pressed that gas pedal and kept everybody behind him was sleeping, it seems like.
Yep. We had a change for second place. Mike Hayes takes over to second place from Stephen Hayes. Michael Thorpe right there in fourth place.
A little bit of a touch from the apron there. Yeah, I think this touch from the apron kind of slowed Stephen Hayes a little bit down there. But Michael Hayes, this is not a surprise to see him up here doing this well. I mean, I know in practice, I do believe he was the fastest man out on the racetrack. So would not be surprised to see him come up here and really challenge Daniel Hendry and to see what Michael Thorpe can do. Because we always know Thorpe is always in contention for the win.
Yeah, definitely, Michael. You always got to watch out for Michael Thorpe. Whether it's on the track or coming out of the pits. I had to throw a pit one in there. Y'all knew it was
coming. Well, we definitely we love to sit, watch Mr. Michael Thorpe out there on the racetrack. Daniel Hendry, though, he is also another one I'm loving to watch right now. Can't wait to see what his future looks like. I mean, especially seeing how good he's doing here. I mean, you guys definitely picked the right ones to join this league for sure. And it's such a hard thing to do to try to find new members that aren't going to come in here and just wreck everybody.
Well, I mean, you've been with Global for quite some seasons now, and you just can't walk off the street and get into one of our cars and get into one of our races and drive around. You gotta come with some credentials. We gotta see you race. We gotta know that you're just not gonna go out there and poop on the friggin' track and watch everybody run through it.
Well, I'll tell you one person trying to drive through the field here, Jeff Weimer, as he's battling with Jeremy Coors, quite a tight battle here. And so we saw, I think that a lot of those guys, I know last week, I think they made the mistake of waiting until the last minute to kind of try to get there.
Oh, yeah,
almost a problem there.
11 got real loose there for a second, but saves it. I thought
good
we
save.
Have the second caution, but good save by Chris Basinger.
Oh, and they just kicked sideways a little bit there. I saw Jeremy Coors and Jeff Weimer kicking sideways there, but they were able to save those machines. That was scary.
And some of these guys, like Jeremy Coors, you definitely seen him like struggle in that late run going in. I guarantee you he made some changes, but you could go too loose, especially on the early runs. If you're too loose and undrivable loose, is what we might be seeing from that what's his 97 car of Jeremy Coors.
And up front, it's gotten spread out a little bit here as Daniel Hendry out to about 0.7 of a gap right now on Michael Hayes. Michael Thorpe's right there behind him, about 3/10. But even further back is, I do believe, Stephen Hayes, who's about almost a second back. So a lot of spreading out here up in the front. One person that's been driving their way forward also has been Ricky Hudgens. He's worked his way up into the 7th position, not too far from the back of Derek Rice and Joshua Slade, who are dueling for 5th.
Yeah. And Ricky Montgomery right there in 8th place as well, right there behind Ricky Hudgens. Derek, like I said, Derek Rice up 5 spots into the 6th spot. And man, there's that Duck Dynasty beard we were talking about last week.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess that gives you more speed. I don't know. You would think, you know, having no hair, you'd be more aerodynamic, but apparently not.
Apparently not.
It gives you downforce. That's what it is.
There you go.
But wow, everybody pretty much single file right now.
Yeah, definitely. Daniel Hendry being the class of the field right now, pulling out to a 0.8 of a second gap over the second place Mike Hayes, and Michael Thorpe right now pressing Mike Hayes for that 2nd spot.
I'm surprised to see Michael Thorpe kind of switching up his approach here. We saw earlier in that first run, he was kind of running a little bit closer to the wall, a little higher on the racetrack, but it looks like he's following Michael Hayes' lead here and trying to run on the bottom. Maybe some adjustments on that car made that possible for him. But Daniel Hendry, like you said, out to a good lead right now. But I think that those guys eventually might end up catching him. I mean, looking at Michael Hayes and Michael Thorpe, they are right now faster than Daniel Hendry. And I think, you know, maybe a little tentative alliance going on right here between Michael Hayes and Thorpe. I mean, they on that last run, they worked very well together. I mean, looks like we got a budding friendship.
It very well could be. And
tell you one that we really need to keep an eye on, though, is Joshua Slade. He's really working closer and closer to Stephen Hayes. I think he might be able to get this pass done at some point. I don't know, though. We'll have to wait and see. But he's definitely in that one of one motorsports machine very quick here tonight. But definitely a lot of spreading out going on right now, and I think that comes to I think a lot of these guys are you know, getting ready for the long haul. I think that they're not trying to push the envelope right now. They're just trying to survive, you know, keep these tires. They saw, you know, I'm sure in that last run they saw how important those tires were, and you know, we saw them being a lot more aggressive. I think the aggressiveness is kind of not there as much right now. I think that these guys are in it for the long haul. They want to try to save their equipment. That way they can make that charge maybe closer to the end of the fuel run.
Yeah, exactly. Right now it's all about conserve. But right now, the 99 is not conserving very much. He has caught the back end of that 25 Daniel Hendry unsponsored Chevrolet there.
That 99 has been looking quick all night long. I think that the only reason he wasn't up closer to the lead sooner was because he was mired in the field. But now that he's gotten some very good track position, he's in 2nd place right now. He's right there on that 25. But can he make that pass happen? That's going to be the hard part. You know, one thing we always say, it's kind of a cliche now. We say it so much. It's one thing to catch someone. It's another thing completely to pass them. And I think that we might see that rule pretty much kind of play out right now. But I don't know. It looks like the 99 going to try to get a run on the top, and that is probably the best thing that he could do right now. But it looks like nope. He gets the run on the top, and then he goes underneath. Yeah.
I don't know if that was a crossover or a cross under, but
definitely working out.
Worked out.
Almost trying to do a slide job on him.
99 is going to lead that lap, but the 25 of Daniel Hendry is not going away. He's going to be a nuisance on the side of that 99 for at least one more turn, getting that slingshot off of that turn on that high side. And here comes Thorpe trying to do the same thing.
Caution's out.
Caution is out. Yellow flag.
Well, you're sure you got your release mark correct coming into pit road? Yes, I do, sir.
I don't see any it's not telling me anything. Let me go back here and look at the yellow. Let me see what happened with the.
Jeff Weimer, I do believe, brought that caution out. As I'm watching him right now, I do believe he got.
Oh, him and the 80. It looked like he got loose right in front of the 81. We'll back it up here just a little. Oh, I don't know. I think 81 and the 73 might have made contact. Looked like the
Definitely.
70, definitely made contact. The 81, I think 73 checked up and the 81 did not. 73 went around. Yeah, so let me see. I'm gonna see if I can roll that.
Yeah, it looks exactly what you're saying. You know, it looks like he just got into the back of the 73 and then got into him again after the fact. You know, usually since we'll get kicked around like that, you kind of lift and you know, but it looks like Chuck just tried to drive right on through.
Yeah, well, and you know, it sucks causing a caution. It sucks, you know, turning somebody, but it really sucks when you're an owner and you take out one of your own drivers. I mean, it's
Oh
just
yeah,
like,
for sure.
You got to be in that radio room with them, and you're like, oh, Chuck, or I mean, and it could have been, you know, Jeff checked up way too much, and that's what it looked like. That Jeff checked up, Chuck was unable to get slowed up, and you know, we see it all the time racing. But when you're an owner and that happens to you, and not only do you damage your car, but you damage your driver's car, it sucks. I know for experience that, you know, I've done damage to my own drivers before on accident. It just sucks.
Oh yeah, I bet it does for sure. And you know, I think that, you know, a lot of what just happened there was, you know, two guys at varying. You know, it's hard to predict when someone's going to be checking up that much. I'm sure Chuck did not know he was going to be checking up like that, and just unfortunate that, you know, that happened. I don't think they really had a lot of damage out of that though. Looking at Jeff Weimer's car right now, it doesn't really look that bad. I mean, he probably does have some rear end problems here. But yeah, you can see that he definitely has some crinkles on that rear end. But because this is more of a low downforce package anyway, I don't know if that's really going to hurt him very much.
Well, we'll definitely see how much damage that they can fix. Looking at the front end of Chuck Cobbs, you definitely see a little pushed in on that front side. I don't think it's too bad. I think they should be able to work that out. So he should definitely be able to carry on through the race with little bit of maybe some a little less horsepower or something like that. But I think he should be fine in the draft.
And we're seeing the 57 of David Holsey, I do believe, going to be getting the wave around here. And you can see that if anybody needs some of that car fixed, I do believe it is David Holsey. That thing is messed up.
Yeah, Mr. David Holsey.
He has got a modified right now.
Yeah.
He is driving a modified.
Yeah, he definitely. I do believe that Brian Ricker was actually the one to get the wave around, and David Holsey's going to stay on the track to try to get one of his laps back once they go to one to go.
Yeah, and he's right now 16 laps down, so he should be able to get one of those back. But it's going to be very difficult. I don't really think it's in the cards to see him actually get all of his laps back.
Nope, I'm picking Holsey to win this race.
Okay, I mean, everybody else has got to get similar damage to him. Then
it is Vegas. People make stupid bets all the time, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, hey, that's if you win that bet, you're going to get a lot of money, considering the odds are going to be definitely against you.
Yeah,
I'd say that's probably 1,000 to 1 or something like that.
There you go.
You're gonna walk away out of this race tonight, Michael Lester, a millionaire.
Bet $1 and get 100 back.
We're gonna be talking to Michael Lester. You're gonna be wiping it. If you start crying, he's gonna wipe his tears with some money.
There you go.
Well, they are side by side, soon to get back green here as they go to the back stretch. Right now, exiting turn 2. definitely excited to see these guys get bunched back up again, and we all saw them go down pit road again. So maybe some other guys, maybe made some adjustments. We talked about Jeremy Coors, how he was, maybe went a little too far on his adjustment. Could he have went back a little bit on it? Could some guys have maybe tried to loosen their machines up a little bit more? I'll tell you, people that probably don't want to change their cars, it's got to be Michael Hayes. I mean, and probably even Michael Thorpe. I'd say that Daniel Hendry might want to have made a change there, because it seems like everyone else has, as the conditions of this track change, looks like they've kind of been keeping up with a little bit better than him so far, as we soon to go green.
Well, Daniel Hendry definitely had a long distance car on that first run, so he took the lead. Michael Hayes came back. He might have been waiting for them tires to do that second stage, and here we go, green flag. But Daniel Hendry might have been waiting for that second stage of his tires to come back in to get that run once again on that late run. But unfortunately for him, he did not get that long green flag run again, and here we are once again restarted.
And right now, a little bit of a duel going on between Joshua Slade and Michael Thorpe right now, as One of One Motorsports on the bottom here. Dirty South up on the top.
Caution is back out.
It's all on you, man. It's all on you. You make the call
Looks
here.
like that is Ricky Montgomery that brings that one out. Let's see exactly what took place here.
I'm trying to run through here and see if it...
And looking back at it right now, see exactly what just happened with him. Yeah, looks like another instance. Oh, I don't know. He was getting loose already. He got loose on his own, but then Steve Gerber, I do believe, helped him, finished him off kind of. But he was definitely getting loose already, with Gerber right behind him. Maybe that was the air bubble from Steve Gerber pushing him, and then maybe got him a little loose. But let's take another look at that.
We'll look at it. Let's look at it through. Let's look at it through the Steve Gerber and see how close he was to. I mean, what would be a good view? Just look at that with. Let's look at it from. I don't know. The nose.
They were really close to one another for sure, but I don't think that the contact wasn't what got, I believe, him loose. I mean, I think, there was no contact in the beginning, but then the contact happened after he had already gotten loose, and it was just another one of them deals to where, someone gets loose or they check up or something like that. You don't have a lot of time to react.
Oh, exactly. Like, I definitely know Steve Gerber, definitely know Ricky Montgomery, and neither one of those guys are that kind of driver. They're not aggressive drivers. I believe that's what it was. He was. You got that air pocket between those two cars, and Ricky's car did not like that air pocket. And
I think that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
And yeah, it jumps up just the slightest bit. Those back tires come up like somebody was getting underneath you, pushing you up, and that back end got just a little bit loose enough for Ricky to have to come out of the gas a little bit, and Gerb just didn't realize that was happening and made.
Yeah, he only had microseconds to even. Yeah, he only had just like microseconds to be able to react to something like that.
So, go back here and look at let's see. We got Steve Gerber. His front end does not look any worse for wear from that incident. And number two, Ricky Montgomery, a little bit of crinkle in that front and a little bit of crinkle in the back, and he's going to come down pit road and try to get that damage fixed. So, do you have any issues with us? Maybe calling Ricky Montgomery up here to the booth or run a caution.
Yeah, let's let him get to pit road, and we could definitely bring him up and maybe he can give us a little bit of insight into what just happened.
Exactly. We'll go ahead and find him. He's down. All right, he's down here on the pit road. We'll bring him up here real quick and talk to him real quick. Ricky Montgomery, Mike Lesser in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Oh man, I mean, we were just wondering how much damage did you get on that car, and exactly from your view, exactly what happened. We seen that you got a little bit loose, and then had to come off your accelerator just a little bit, and Gerb just touched you in the slightest, and that's all it took for you.
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit of new tires, and then I just got into the gas a little bit too much, and then yeah, like you said, it doesn't really take a whole lot of getting you out of balance to put you around here. But I didn't get in. I didn't get in the wall too bad. I only had about 20-25 seconds of damage, so I'll be all good. And I got more fuel, so hopefully I'll be on a different fuel run.
Oh, there you go. It could be worse. You could be looking like that car in front of you right now.
Yeah, no kidding. I just saw that.
Right.
That's a rough day.
Yeah, well, we see you're going back. You're double file and going back to green. So thanks for coming up here and talking to us and letting us know what happened.
Yep. See you, Lester. See you guys.
Yes, sir. That's Ricky Montgomery, the number 2 car, back this week from taking a week off. Maybe he shouldn't take weeks off anymore. He'd be a little bit more practice racing, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I've definitely been seeing Ricky Montgomery been doing very well lately. In the races he has competed in. I know at Daytona, I think he was definitely one of the ones that was shining out there for sure. But unfortunately, tonight just having some bad luck. But luckily, he does seem very optimistic. Love to hear that. He says, only 25 seconds, and he's looking at the bright side. He's like, I'm on a different fuel schedule now than these guys. That's a good way to look at it.
Oh, definitely. If we get that long green flag run that we were talking about earlier in the race, and the one that we almost saw, that we might have to do some green flag stops. Now he's pretty much good off schedule, so he can wait 5, 6, 7, maybe even 10 more laps. See if that caution comes out, then he'll be sitting pretty good.
Green flag.
Well, there goes the green flag. Michael Hayes waiting a little bit longer to go here, but he still does manage to drift up right in front of Daniel Hendry. Hendry going to try to do a crossover here and take that spot from him. So already some fighting for the lead, and it looks like Daniel Hendry going to take that position here.
And Michael Thorpe's going to try to come underneath the 99 of Michael Hayes and try to take that second spot, but the 99 of Michael Hayes fighting back on that outside.
And we also got a pretty good battle going on even further back here. As Tristan Evil tries to work his way past Ricky Hudgens. We see also Christopher Basinger right there also fighting.
Ooh, slide job right there in front of that 21 of Ricky Hudgens from Tristan Evil. And Tristan Evil, like he's made some changes in that car. Now Ricky Hudgens trying to battle back under that low side.
Yeah, this is the Ricky Hudgens I'm used to seeing right here. We've seen him do so well, especially on like long runs and stuff like that. We've seen him do very well, very good at maintaining his equipment. And this is, I think, just switching over to the Xfinity car from the truck, I think has really been the main challenge that whole team has been facing here. But I think that they're finally starting to, get it right, get where they need to be when it comes to these setups and how to drive these race cars.
Right now, his teammate Michael Thorpe taking over to second place over from Mike Hayes, setting his sights on Daniel Hendry.
I was about to say, who's DeAndre?
I did a broadcast the other night, and there was a DeAndre Hauer, so kind of just jumped in on me. But Daniel Hendry and DeAndre, similar character. I'm not even trying to say that word.
Joshua Slade taking over third place here, still battling right there with, I do believe, Michael Hayes.
Michael Hayes was leading this race at the restart, is now falling back to fourth place.
And it looks like Michael Thorpe has his eyes set on the lead as he is right there behind, trying to figure out any way he possibly can to try to figure out a way to get around Daniel. Knowing Thorpe, he's going to find that way. He's just going to, just depends on what he's going to do here. He gets right up to the back bumper. He's going to try to go underneath. And now they're going to get side by side. But we've seen how this top lane does. I don't know. Is Thorpe going to be able to make this pass happen? Oh, getting very close to one another.
You see that Daniel Hendry is not letting Michael Thorpe get that full run coming off the turn. he kind of pinches them down and keeps them in that one track or one line track down there on the bottom, and that is really crucial to owning that top line. If you can own that middle to top line and keep your aggressors down on that bottom side, you're going to be doing good all night long.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely try to, because the main thing about this track is, it has an optimal line. I mean, you want to try to, arc the corners as much as you can. Apex, just like you see it at, any other track. I mean, you want to try to apex the corners as best you can. And you see Daniel really taking that ability away from Michael Thorpe, not able to get the momentum off the corner when he's down there on the bottom.
Exactly. When you run that bottom line, like you said, you need to apex perfectly to get that slingshot coming off the top side. So if somebody's up there that prevents you from getting that slingshot, the friction on your tires is scrubbing off a lot of speed on that exit speed.
Yeah, speaking of scrubbing off your tires, I mean, it also is going to wear those tires a little prematurely, considering you're not able to really, unwind that wheel like you usually would when you're trying to get the run on exit. When you're on the bottom, you're really scrubbing the tires even more, which causes, I'd say, more tire wear.
You're definitely right there. It's another strategy to get somebody to use up their tires. Keep them pinched down on that bottom line. Make them use if they want to be down there. If they want to do the pass, they're gonna have to earn it, and they're gonna have to sacrifice something. And it's usually the tire wear that gets sacrificed. But 82 laps in the books. At the line, we're approaching halfway.
That was weird to tell Lester. Sorry about I didn't answer you that quickly. I had some type of cricket or something in my house was making some noises.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're having cricket difficulties.
I thought it was my computer. I was like, "Uh-oh, what's going on?" And I was looking around, and that's not my computer. I think that's got a cricket.
Well, I mean, tell Boots to get on there. Get on it.
Get on it, right?
Can't have no crickets.
Tristan Evil. Tristan Evil getting very loose there. This is going to allow, I do believe, Christopher Bassinger to try to make something happen here side by side right now for that 6th position. And it looks like he's going to make that happen. Ooh, close call there from Ricky Hudgens. He almost got into the back end of Tristan Evil. Good job on him to be able to lay off that gas and not hit him.
And that's another thing about racing around people that you've raced with, for 4 seasons. Ricky Hudgens has Jeremy Coors right there behind him. Ricky Hudgens is knowing if he gets off the accelerator right there, he's not going to have to worry about Jeremy Coors driving up into the back of him. So definitely good awareness on all fronts with Ricky Hudgens, Jeremy Coors, and Tristan Evil as well.
Yeah, and I think that, I bet Tristan Evil's been putting in, trying to adjust on that car as he goes, and I just think that he has not found the right balance, the right handling thus far, and we're just not seeing the same Tristan Evil we probably saw last week. So, like you said, any week, I mean, you think that you got the hot hand and you think you're going to dominate all these races, it might not end up going your way like that.
But right now, what we are seeing is a 4-way battle for the lead. Joshua Slade coming up to join the battle between Michael Thorpe and Daniel Hendry, and Michael Hayes coming back up to make it a 4-car race. And don't count out Derek Rice back there in 5th. He's going to come up there and try to make it as well.
Yeah, one thing that's really going to be scary here is they're coming up on David Holsey, who's several laps down. This could be scary here if Holsey does not cooperate with these guys or does not hold a predictable line. It could be quite a scary ordeal for this top 4.
These guys know Holsey will definitely hold his line, let these guys get around him. Like we said earlier when he got involved in that accident, Holsey is one of the long-time drivers for Global. Wasn't even worried about it for a minute, that they wouldn't be able to get around him.
Well, that's definitely good. I know if I came up on him and I saw, especially with them being, not to say that he wouldn't hold his line, just being that much more slower than everybody can cause issues too, because it's hard to predict, how slow he's going, what his momentum is based on yours, compared to yours. But it looks like it definitely didn't cause any problems here as the top 4 still battling as Michael Thorpe remains in second. Joshua Slade, after trying to charge there, lost that position. He's back to fourth now.
Well, Michael Hayes trying to challenge the 34 of Michael Thorpe.
And still battling going on here for sixth place, I do believe, as we're 3 wide, actually. Jeremy Coors, Ricky Hudgens, and Tristan Evil, all 3 wide.
I'm back here looking at Jeffrey Weimer. I think that damage to his back end is a little bit more considerable than we thought. He is falling back. Let me see. He is 8 seconds behind the leader. Almost a second and a half behind Don Blazer, who's the next car in line to him. So I think that damage to the back end has definitely got his car not feeling right.
Yeah, it looks like that car is hurting more than it looks like it should be. I mean, you see the damage; it doesn't look that bad, but I mean, it could have easily affected his his springs or his suspension back there, and that could really hurt his handling, which I think is what we're seeing here. Is we see Tristan Evil edge out in front. He's able to secure 7th place after Ricky Hudgens tries to battle. Oh, getting real close there. Almost, I think it's a little bit of contact between Ricky Hudgens and Stephen Hayes. Jeremy Coors is probably terrified right now as he's like, what do I do?
But there's battles all over. Before that, 34 and the 99 were battling for that 2nd place. Daniel Hendry, they're all right here. The 99, or not the 99, the 25, the 34, the 99, and the 7. They're all just right here. Nobody has gone anywhere. The race for the lead is heating up.
Yeah, I think pretty much everybody up here in this top 4, they have very similar speed and pace, and you can see it right now. But I mean, the thing is, being that these guys, everybody starts struggling on the long run. Some people struggle more than others. How is this going to play out? These guys are 27 laps into their run right now, so 28 just as they just crossed the line. So, I mean, this is that moment. This is that time that we saw in the first run of the race where, guys really started struggling. Will we see that from these guys too?
Yeah, these guys were able to go 44 laps on that first run, and they probably could have gone more, probably about 6 more laps. But you see we see the top 8 guys right here. They're all on the same pit sequence, so here we're probably going to be looking at another 15 laps, 16 laps. We'll start seeing these guys come in for that green flag if we can stay green.
Yeah. Can these guys stay green? I mean, considering it as they go on, the handling conditions of these cars is going to be worsening by the moment. I mean, so when we got to about 45, it seemed like that was when the floodgates bursted. We saw some guys hit the wall, cause it, or we saw, accidents start to happen. Could it be the same way again here, or have guys made the necessary adjustments or figured out how their car should drive? We watched Stephen Hayes; he's getting really loose. Seems like he's having some major handling conditions, and I think a lot of it comes down to, you make those adjustments. And sometimes, I know for myself, whenever I'm out there racing in an open setup, type of series, or even, the officials, I'm always so scared to make adjustments because I feel like I'm just going to make it worse.
Oh yeah, I don't, unless it's something as small as like changing tire pressure or up in the tape or taking tape off. I don't do those any more changes than that. I'm not that gear guy. I'm not the wrench guy. But right now, Tristan Evil is making his way past Christopher Basinger. Oh, we're gonna make it 3 wide. Oh,
that was definitely very scary.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean, at this point of the stage, you're trying to go 3 wides on 25 lap tires. That's scary.
Oh
that's
yeah,
what
for sure.
Scares me.
You're not sure how your car is going to behave. I mean, if you get too tight, you got 2 other cars above you. Not necessarily your fault if you get too tight. I mean, it's difficult to maintain 3 wide in these Xfinity cars.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, I think it's difficult to maintain 3 wide in any vehicle, at any track. I mean, I know if you're able to put 3 cars in there, it's a necessary. Sometimes you have to do it, but I kind of just wish we had 2 grooves.
Oh, big wiggle there from Stephen Hayes, getting really loose off the corner, able to maintain that, though, as Jeremy Coors gets the run on the top side. Looks like he is going to take over 7th. The battle is still on for that 7th position, and it is on for, I do believe, the 9th position also right behind them, as we see still Ricky Hudgens fighting, I do believe, with Christopher Basinger.
Ricky Hudgens taking the spot away from the 11 car, Christopher Basinger. Just trying to set his sights now. Oh, no, Christopher Basinger's trying to come back, look low. But Ricky's going to maintain that 9th place position.
We also see Steve Gerber a little bit further back here. He's starting to work his way up closer and closer to these guys. I mean, definitely going to be helping him that they're all fighting side by side a lot of the time. You know, not really, they're not content to run where they are. So Steve Gerber might be able to catch up to these guys, maybe make up some positions himself.
And if you looking at the top 4 guys, these guys are nose to tail right here, racing, doing a good battle for this lead position. Every one of them are represented a different team. You got the leader, Daniel Hendry, representing Lunatics. You got the 2nd place of Michael Thorpe representing Dirty South. Mike Hayes representing Lazy Lizard, and Joshua Slade representing William Brown Motorsports. So, I mean, that's the kind of racing you want to see. That's the kind of league you want to see, you know, where any team has a representative up there in the top 4.
See, I thought Josh Slade was one of one Motorsports.
In the trucks, he is one of one Motorsports.
Oh, you're right. Yep, it does say William Brown Motorsports. You're right. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why I thought that.
Yeah, Joshua Slade is the owner of one Motorsports. He's the Kyle Busch of the Xfinity series. He
I see.
He races in Xfinity, and he owns a team down there in the trucks. Joshua Slade, one of the owners, and I'm glad to have him on board. And he's a lot of help. He was a lot of help during the ARCA series, which brings me up to something that I was going to advertise tonight.
Oh, big problems here. Stephen Hayes and Tristan Evil into the inside wall. No caution.
No caution.
And Tristan Evil is stopped on the bottom, on the apron. Heavy damage on that race car. Come
back here and see exactly what happened. Looks like Stephen Hayes is on the low side. Oh, Stephen Hayes just brakes and catches the quarter panel of Tristan Evil, sending Tristan Evil basically up to the wall, then down to the inside wall. But no caution is out.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that no caution came out for that. That is unfortunate for sure. And yeah, it just looks like Stephen Hayes just broke loose.
Yeah, I mean,
and then kind of overcorrected it. That's what we were talking about before, about the overcorrection. I think that's exactly what that was there.
You're probably right. Both of these cars definitely got to come down and get some damage fixed. But yeah, Stephen Hayes, it looks like he got maybe a little loose, or thought he was getting loose and overcorrected it, and it just shot him right up. And Tristan Evil, innocent bystander in that carnage there. You
hate to see it, that's for sure. As Daniel Hendry pulling away now. He's up to 0.8 of a lead on Michael Thorpe. Or Michael Hayes, I should say. Michael Thorpe is right there behind him with Josh Ward. So looks like that leader, you talked about it once those tires, that second stage, that second life of those tires, I guess you could say, really is starting to hit there for Daniel Hendry. I mean, this could be, his first start in the Xfinity Series, and he could win his first race in the first start. I mean, you always love to see things like that. I mean, you can't get much better than that.
Well, this will be the second time this season that we've seen somebody who has raced the first time for Global Racing League come out the victor. We've seen it the first week with Christopher Basinger winning Daytona in his first start, and now we're going to see Daniel Hendry have an opportunity to win his first start in Global Racing.
Yeah, definitely could win for sure. Green flag pit stops are coming up here shortly, and you could be dominating, and all throughout the run. But I think green flag pit stops are going to be so important, and so it's going to be so easy, especially under green flag, to make a mistake. I mean, you could find yourself getting a speeding penalty. You could find yourself, anything like that. Unsafe pit entry or exit, or anything like that could really, really hurt your race.
Yeah. Yeah, you hit it right there on the nail. You never count your chickens before they're hatched, because, like you said, speeding penalty, overshooting your pit box, all plays a factor in if you're going to win this race or not. Especially we're over halfway now, so this is when it's crunch time. You got to do everything right from here on out. There's no
we've already completed over 150 miles here, so we have already gone quite the distance as it is, and even 1 second, like you said, if you miss your box and have to kick it in reverse to get back in your box, just that 1 second you might lose is enough. 1 second in pit road is a huge amount of distance on the actual racetrack.
Well, put it this way: one second mistake in pit road will cost you 3 seconds on the track, because you might say, "Oh, it's only 1 second." No, you're gonna have to at least double or triple that. Because these guys who hit their boxing right are doing it a second ahead of time. So like I said, oh, here we go. We got some green flag pit stops. Jeremy Coors coming in.
Jeremy Coors down pit road here. And also, person I'd like to talk about, Derek Rice has been really on the move here. He has worked his way. We saw him. He was like in no man's land, further back, behind Michael Thorpe, Joshua Slade, Mike Hayes, but he has worked his way up and past Joshua Slade and Michael Thorpe, and now occupies the third position. What a race that 20 car is having here tonight.
You do know what I'm going to give credit to that, right? That's that beard power.
That's that beard power.
That's that beard power right there.
The beard helps saves tires for some reason. It just, I don't know what it is.
He found the button inside the beard, because sometimes it takes a long time to rough, especially the beard that he's got. You got to ruffle through there a little bit trying to find that beard button, but he found the beard button. Now he's done hit it in beard drive.
The beard button. I hear you. Yeah. He's definitely pressed it. He pressed it. That's for sure.
But right now, somebody that's getting pressed is Michael Hayes. He has caught back up to the back of Daniel Hendry, and is going to try to take the lead before these pit stops come in. It looks like Michael Hayes is. Oh, wow. Okay, good driving. I thought for sure that they were going to make contact going into that turn right there.
Oh, and I think some problems for Derek Rice. Looking at him, he just picked up some rear end or front end damage, and he has gotten passed by Michael Thorpe and Joshua Slade. So something just happened that we missed.
Was he laughing because of the beard?
I guess so. We probably distracted him with our beard jokes.
He's having some beard malfunctions.
Ricky Hudgens kicking off also green flag pit stops here. He's down pit road, or he's going down pit road as we speak. Also, I do believe Steve Gerber.
I'm looking back. I don't see what could have happened to the 20 of Derek. Oh, he did come up and hit the wall a little bit, but he hit it on the backside.
Yeah, you can see that is quite a bit of damage on that right rear, or right front, I should say.
He could have He definitely could have Yeah, it looks like he definitely pancaked that right side. So, and that was right about when we were talking about the beard power. So I definitely apologize for making a joke that caused him to go. But we got Daniel Hendry's pit now, and that's going to give up the lead to Mike Hayes.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Michael Hayes go down anytime now also. These guys are about 50 laps into their stint, so it looks like 50 is about the number that these guys can make it. As we see Michael Hayes, he's slowing down. I do believe he is going to be pitting himself.
He is coming in this time by.
Michael Thorpe and Joshua Slade still staying out right now. They're going to try to stretch it another lap here. I suspect this next time by, we're going to see those guys go down pit road here. Love to see these green flag pit stops.
Yeah, if you get to see green flag pit stops, you know these guys are doing something right. Oh, Thorpe.
Big problem there. Derek Rice we talked about it before. Derek Rice has to back up. He missed his box.
And he just, the woes just keep coming for Derek Rice. Hits the wall on the track and then misses his box in the pits, and Joshua Slade takes the lead away from Michael Thorpe.
And I also saw just now Christopher Basinger also missing his box and having to correct himself there. That is just something you don't want to happen. I mean, that's one thing, a lot of, you have to really practice those green flag pit stops. It's not really all about just being able to run on the racetrack. That green flag pit stops are important too, as we see Michael Thorpe dipping down pit road. And that leaves Joshua Slade all by his lonesome out there. So he's got to be on fumes. I got to say, Joshua Slade's got to be on fumes right now. Let's see how Michael Thorpe does on entering his pit box here. It looks like he has a good stop. Gets right into his box. And Joshua Slade again going another lap here. I'm shocked that he has the ability to do this. As him and he is actually the last one. There's no other person out there. He is the one that has to pit here. Everybody else has pitted. And Daniel Hendry will be in the lead, I do believe, when Joshua Slade does pit here. So great green flag pit stop sequence there for Daniel Hendry. But we see Michael Hayes a little bit further behind, I'd say about 0.8. Michael Hayes is running faster right now than Daniel Hendry. So I would not be surprised to see that kind of change. You see that Michael Hayes. Daniel Hendry once Joshua Slade gets, because Hayes is looking very fast. It's about 2 tenths quicker every time than this Hendry. And I do believe there comes Joshua Slade. Yep, I believe this pitting. Nope, again he stays out. How is he making it this far? He is 58 laps into this, and I think many are fuel estimates are way off. How is he making it this far? Lap times, last time by was at 32.315. That is a little under 2 seconds slower than everyone else. So definitely he's suffering when it comes to his tire wear for sure. But man, just shocked that he's been able to make it this far as we hit 124 in this race. Definitely well into the final portions of this race. Still quite a ways to go, though. A little under 80 laps remain.
He is up to 59 laps. Probably 60 at the line. So he's definitely is able to only do it. This could be his last stop of the race.
I think that's what he might be going for, but I just don't see how he's made it this far. I think that he must have some, he must have some cups or something in there in that car with some gas in it or something, or he's got some gas in his mouth. He's spitting it into the tank or something. I don't know what he's doing here, how he's making it this far, but I don't know. I think we might need to search that car after this race to see if there's any kind of funny business going on.
Yeah, the long Stephen Hayes, or sorry, not Stephen Hayes, Mike Hayes, who just took over second place from Daniel Hendry, went 51 laps. Hendry went 50 laps, and Coors only went 45. So there's a lot of different strategies being played out right now.
Oh, and looking at this, I'm curious what happened to Michael Thorpe. He was just up here in the top 5, fighting, in contention for the win, and now he's 1 lap down. I mean, like, he is not – he's right there with these guys, but he is not for position. I would assume maybe he had a penalty?
I'm guessing – that's what I'm going to guess, is that he had a penalty.
Joshua Slade down pit road, and he's coming off.
And Joshua Slade finally made his pit stops. That's going to get the lead back over to Daniel Hendry. Maybe our pit road reporter maybe can answer that about the Michael Thorpe situation there, but.
Yeah, I definitely would be curious to know what exactly took place there. And even if, it had to be something that happened on pit road. I mean, 100% had to be something that happened on pit road, whether it be an unsafe pit exit or a speeding penalty where he had a 40-second hold. I mean, that's what I probably think the probability is. That's what happened. He probably sped.
I'm going to see if I can go back here and find...
That's something you don't want to do, though. I mean, you can see how much that can hamper your race. You can go from being in the top 5, being in, way up closer to the front, and all of a sudden, something like that could really just derail your race so fast, as we see Michael Hayes now taking the lead. What a great race that we've seen from Ricky Hudgens, though. He's up to 3rd right now, looking very strong. Derek Rice, we saw he had missed his box on pit road, still up in 4th place, doing a great job.
Now, I'm looking for when Michael Thorpe went into the pits here, and trying to see how long he was in pit road. Because it's here we go. We got it. Yeah, entering the pits. We'll go back here and look and see how long he was in the pits here.
Michael Hayes definitely pulling away right now.
It didn't look like he was locking his brakes up, trying to get down to speed. So I'm imagining he didn't get a speeding penalty.
Yeah, I'm just curious what could have put him, in such a predicament. Yeah, I mean, you don't go from top 5 to 12th from nothing happening.
Exactly. I mean, it's definitely strange.
EJ Luna going down to the apron to let the Ricky Hudgens go.
Yeah, he might have got a speeding penalty because he was on pits after his tires changed. He's still sitting in his pit box, so definitely either that or his dad wanted to take the garbage out.
He's like, you better stop that race right now and go take that garbage out.
That's
I'm like, Dad, I can't pause this. Like, Dad, I can't pause this. Like,
it was either a speeding penalty or Right now, back to the action here. Mike Hayes out leading Daniel. Ricky Hudgens now in 3rd place.
So I'm saying, yeah, Ricky Hudgens definitely had a very good pit sequence there. He's up in 3rd right now, but being chased down by Derek Rice. And Rice, didn't have the best pit stop himself. I mean, he missed his box, had to kick it in reverse. But luckily, it looks like it didn't hurt him too bad, as he still is up in the top 5 right now in 4th place. But a far cry from where those 2 leaders are. Michael Hayes and Daniel Hendry are over 12 seconds, probably, I think about 13 seconds out in front right now. That's a huge gap that those guys have. And if this continues with the green flag racing and they have another green flag pit stop and they're able to do that perfectly also, wouldn't be surprised to see those guys put even more time on the rest of the field.
Yeah, right. It was like Michael Thorpe was able to get his lap back the hard way. So he has a fast car on and off pit road.
And look at this, though. Joshua Slade, who we saw stay out so long, has now worked his way up to third, has just got by Ricky Hudgens. Still has a long way to go to catch up to these top two, but because he waited so long to pit, he has the freshest tires in the field right now, which is really going to benefit him.
It's definitely.
I mean, look at his lap times. He's a half a second faster.
It's definitely going to benefit him, but he's got 13 seconds to make up for it. So by the time he runs these fast speeds and try to make up that 13 seconds, by the time he catches up to him, his tires are going to be wore out just as much as theirs are. So what benefit is, staying out there that long, really going to make?
No, I agree. I don't think it was the best call for him to stay out that long, considering, I mean, yeah, he could have, I think he was trying to, stretch it as far as he could to see if he maybe could make it on fuel at the end, but I don't think that's even going to be possible.
I believe not, because he went 60, he was able to do 61 laps. Let me bring that pit strategy up once more. He did, on that last pit stop, he did, well, it says 24, but I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I think he did about a little over 60.
61. He did 61 laps. So that means he pitted, and then he pitted. So he would have actually had to pit like at 1:39. So he's definitely going to be short and definitely going to need to come in one more time before this race is over.
And some guys that are a little bit in danger of going a lap down. Of course, Michael Thorpe fought back and got his lap back the hard way. But Jeff Weimer won't be long till he finds Michael Hayes in his rearview mirror, and that'll be unfortunate. I'm sure that Jeff Weimer's probably wanting a caution right now to get that machine fixed up, considering the damage he incurred earlier.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, these top two cars, Michael Hayes and Daniel Hendry, are the only ones that do not want to see a yellow flag. They want this to go green. Joshua Slade might want to see a yellow just to bring him back in there. But everybody, Ricky Hudgens, Derek Rice, Chuck Cobb, Steve Gerber, Jeremy Kors, Don Blazer, Christopher Blazer.
Big problems back here between Steve Gerber and Stephen Hayes. Steve Gerber hits Stephen Hayes up into the wall. No caution for that, but that is going to definitely hurt both of those race cars. Man, that was not very nice.
I was back here on Steve Gerber, and doesn't look like he is his car is any worse for the wear.
Almost looked like he used Stephen Hayes as a wall himself there. So definitely unfortunate to see that. I mean, especially, I don't think there's really any need to race someone like Stephen Hayes very hard anyway. I mean, Stephen Hayes is 5 laps down. I would try to be patient trying to get around him, considering, there's nothing really to gain from racing him hard.
I think that might have been just one of those things where the same thing that happened with Stephen Hayes. Looks like Gerb's car just broke a little bit and made contact with Michael Hayes. I don't think it was anything malice about it. I'll rewind it one more time and maybe look at it through another view, but it looked like
yeah, I'm sure it wasn't anything to do with malice at all. Just unfortunate that Stephen Hayes was in the wrong place at the wrong time when that happened.
Yeah. We'll definitely, as an admin group, we'll probably go back and look at it. But we stay green. Daniel Hendry is taking over the lead back once again from Michael Hayes.
This has really been just trading this lead back and forth between these two cars. They have easily been the class to the field here.
Okay.
I mean, these guys have definitely been the class of the field.
Yeah, definitely. Stage 1 on the tires goes to Mike Hayes. Stage 2 definitely goes to Daniel Hendry. Towards the end of the run, it's still yet to determine, because that last time you seen Mike Hayes was catching Daniel Hendry towards the end of the run. So definitely not over yet for that lead.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Michael Hayes, even though he has I think 1 lap newer tires than Daniel Hendry, And still, look, the lap time difference here is 4/10. I mean, that is a huge difference in lap times right now. And even huger is the lap time difference from Joshua Slade to these guys in front. He has, we talked about him having to claw back 13 seconds. He's done half of that already. He's up to about 6 seconds behind these guys now. So, wow, he has definitely been making some moves out here.
Yeah, we'll definitely see if that long green flag strategy he had to stay out will pay dividends in the end. Like you said, he just took off 6 seconds in probably 10 laps. So we'll definitely see if that plays a big part on how fast he's running and getting up there to these leaders, and if he can pass them.
And I would suspect that Joshua Slade is going to be going a lot longer again, but I mean probably not as long as he went before. I would assume, but he's definitely going to be able to maybe overcut some of those other guys, stay out a little bit longer, and be able to finish this race on the newest tires, which I mean could be a benefit. I mean he's going to be able to drive that car a little bit harder than they will be at the end, but I don't know if it's really. I mean I think he definitely has what it takes to get himself a nice third place finish here tonight, and nothing wrong with that. I mean third place, consistency is key here. Points, not pride, I'd say.
Oh, you're definitely right there. Anybody would tell you a consistent racer will always be in contention for a championship. If you can win a race and it's all great for that one race, but it doesn't mean you're going to make the playoffs. So
yeah, for sure. And you find yourself, the people that are usually in the points lead are the ones that they don't win every race, but they always finish that race. I mean, you have to finish the race in order to get anywhere. I mean, you can't always go out there and drive so aggressively because checkers and wreckers mentality doesn't work in a lot of times.
Oh, you're so right. One
problems with someone hitting the outside wall. Who was that?
I don't know, but Jeremy Coors is back down on the pit road. Maybe
that should be within the fuel window here.
Yeah. You remember he was one of the first people to come down on that last green flag run that we had. So this might be a scheduled stop for Jeremy Coors. He's 52 laps from the finish, 53. So that's pushing his limit because he went down at 45. But as you've seen, Joshua Slade goes 61 laps. So
yeah, I think that he is within the fuel window. So that's definitely a varying strategy. A different strategy from what we're seeing from almost everybody else out here. But it could pay off. I mean, it could. I think it'll definitely be able to get a lot of time back for him. But whenever it comes to these guys coming back out here on the newer tires, it's just going to be hard to maintain that. And we've seen, Jeremy Coors has been struggling with the long run pace, and usually, in the truck back, last season when he was racing in the truck series, long run pace was pretty much what Jeremy Coors was known for. But it seems like it just does not apply to the Xfinity car.
Yeah, he's definitely struggling on that long run pace, like you said. One guy I want to give a big shout out to who's running a really good race. Chuck Cobb in that 81 White Buffalo Healing Gardens Chevrolet, up in 6th place right now and trying to make his way up into the top 5. Oh, whereas I just put a
little bit of a wiggle there.
I put the target on him. You know what? Let's get off. Let's go talk about somebody else.
Talk about Jeff Weimer.
Ricky Hudgens in the 4th place. He's definitely having a good race, up 14 spots from his original starting position, and I guess a couple of these guys who you haven't seen in the top 10 all year long, or all season long, I should say, up here battling. Ricky Hudgens in 4th, Chuck Cobb 5th, Steve Gerber 7th. So good.
And I think you were 100% on the money though when it came to Joshua Slade. You said that the more and more he caught up to these guys, the more and more he would be equaling out his tires to them. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing right now. He is easily catching up to Michael Hayes. I think he will eventually get to him. But Daniel Hendry, I mean, they're running virtually almost the same lap time, so I don't know if he will be able to catch Daniel Hendry, especially once green flag pit stops are probably going to be ensuing here shortly anyway, as we see actually Derek Rice down pit road.
Yeah, and all these guys pitting now, they're banking that no more cautions will come out towards the end of the race, knowing that somebody like Joshua Slade can go 61 laps, and will he go 61 laps this time? If he doesn't get a caution on this time, I don't think you'll see Joshua Slade stay out that long. He's probably going to half it up and try to, with 40 laps to go, knowing you can make it the rest of the way, definitely come in and get these fresh tires. As you see him coming around Jeffrey Weimer, who is a lap down.
Yeah, Jeff Weimer getting ready to get passed here by Derek Rice. Or I'm sorry, Joshua Slade. And, like I said, I don't think Slade's going to run it all out. I don't think that's going to be the case here. But, man, just a class of the field. Oh, problems here. Someone into the outside wall.
Don Blazer.
Don Blazer, yeah.
Right in front of the 99. And let's go back and look at that real quick. And now Mike Hayes is down in the pit, coming to pit road after.
Yeah, interesting time for him to pit. That's probably, that when the second place guy pits, that's usually a sign that a lot of other guys are probably going to be following suit.
I think Mike Hayes, the 23 of Don Blazer got real tight, comes up and hit the wall, and I think the 99 kind of followed him, and they made some contact. I think there's some damage on that 99, and that's why he decided to come down pit road that time.
Yeah, unfortunately. Hopefully it didn't look too bad. Hopefully it won't affect him that much, but it definitely could very well. And I'm sure Don Blazer definitely feeling somewhat bad about that. And, usually I expect to see Don Blazer, really do a lot better. Not to say that, I just think that a lot of these guys, not to pick on him specifically, I just think a lot of these guys have been struggling when it comes to the transition to this car.
Well, I'm not going to make comments that I haven't really talked to him or got that story. I do believe that you might be right. I mean, the Xfinities is definitely a lot harder to drive than the trucks. The trucks are more stable. The setups feel better. The racing feels better. These Xfinity cars are really loose. And then in Don's case, it looked like he got really tight and washed up. And I think Steven, like we talked about earlier in the race, where the car in front of you goes up to the wall and you kind of just got that tunnel vision and you're following that car and you're like, oh, realize I'm about to hit the wall too, and then you turn hard left.
And we saw Jeremy Coors was one of the first guys to green flag pit here in the fuel window. He is driving his way past a lot of people right now. He's up to 7th right now. As I saw, I do believe he drove past Michael Thorpe just now, but he is not on the lead lap. He's actually 1 lap down. And even though he had pitted earlier than everybody, Michael Hayes still comes out in front of him. Just shows you how much of a gap that that top 2 had built.
And I'm going to try to... just a little bit of damage on that right side of the 99.
Caution's out.
Oh, and here we go. We have a caution is out. That is not good for a lot of
Steve
drivers.
Gerber. Steve Gerber, the one to bring in that caution out. Oh, almost have some problems where some guys almost hit him. But luckily he's able to get off the racetrack. That was scary. Let's take a look back and see what happened with Mr. Steve Gerber here. This has not been the best day for Steve Gerber here. Let's see exactly how this happened. I think he lost it all by himself. But luckily, I don't think anybody else got into him, and I don't think he really incurred a ton of damage from this accident. Oh, big contact with him and Jeremy Coors. Man, I think that Steve Gerber just got loose right in front of Jeremy Coors, and Coors just pile-drived him. Man, that is going to kill probably Coors' race there.
97 and the 8 are I don't want to say trash. That
was a hard hit.
Driving, but their cars are definitely recycle bound.
That was a hard hit. And like I said, I do believe Steve Gerber got a little loose, and Coors just had so much more momentum than he did, and you know, that just goes to show you that, you know, old tires versus new tires.
Wow, yeah, that's one of those weird incidents where, you know, you can't really say what happened. I know Steve Gerber, you know, is probably upset right now. That's where I'm putting my money at right now, is that Steve Gerber is upset.
Yeah, I'm looking at this through Jeremy Cours's cockpit camera to see exactly what was going through his mind. And he just came up on him, and it looks like Steve Gerber maybe was even getting ready to pit. Because you see that Gerber slowed down quite a bit, was not able to get off the track in time, and Coors just was flying up, and just both of those guys, just wrong place, wrong time, I'd say.
And, you know, that's the danger of trying to be as realistic as you possibly can with how NASCAR is. These guys are not, they can't talk to each other on the track. If they're not teammates with each other, and you see a lot of, looks like it was some damage on that 34 car. Sorry, I mean, it just looked like he's got some right side damage, but it might be just a paint scheme that he's running. But these guys can't talk to each other on the track here. So getting in on an off pit road is kind of a challenging for him. And most of the time we don't have any problems with it. I believe you're right. Steve Gerber was probably trying to get down pit road, and Jeremy Coors just came in not seeing it. He couldn't get down quick enough, and then you see what we had there, which is a big accident between the two.
Interesting for sure. Looks like a lot of guys deciding to stay out. Looks like Joshua Slade actually staying out here. Very interesting call from him. I don't know if this is a good one. I think that he should have took that chance and just went down pit road here, but maybe just didn't get that memo. I just don't know why he would stay out here. He's going to be much slower than everybody else, since a lot of those guys took, you know, their stops and you know, gassed up and probably took tires here, considering they were far into this run.
Yeah, definitely. I think Michael Thorpe, first car that did go down pit road, Ricky Hudgens right there behind him. Definitely shaking up the top 5 here. Mike Hayes back in 4th place with Daniel Hendry in 5th. I think Chuck Cobb right there in 6th place.
Yeah, it looks like this is definitely a call that Joshua Slade's making, because he had another opportunity there just to go down pit road, but it looks like he is just not going to take that. He's staying out. I mean, it looks like he's going to, you know, he's on old tires. This is going to be scary. He's going to be on old tires, and everyone else behind him is on new tires. I don't know, though. What's going on here? Michael Thorpe driving around Joshua Slade here. This is kind of confusing. I think maybe Michael Thorpe just playing around with Joshua Slade.
We were getting the 1 to go, so Thorpe is getting in position on that high style.
Oh, okay. A lot of people will lap down, too. That caution really threw a wrench into a lot of people's races here.
Yeah, most definitely. And the guys that just pitted can go the rest of the distance. They don't have to pit anymore. So if this stays green and Joshua Slade, he might be banking on that these caution laps is going to give him what he needs to make it to the rest of the way. But like you said, his tire, he's no longer got the advantage of having the fresher tires.
What's really confusing me is I'm looking at my information here, and it says that he's only has 2 laps on his tires, which doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, maybe as soon as that caution, or right before that caution came out, he pitted, and maybe that's why he was able to have what's going on right now. But it looks like the green flag is coming out here. Very interesting. Most of the field single file on this restart.
Yeah, because a lot of guys had to wave around and they had to go in the back of the pack there, along with Michael Hayes. He got the lucky dog. Had to go into the end of the longest line probably.
And already Joshua Slade being challenged by Michael Thorpe. Michael Thorpe trying to make the pass on the bottom here. As we see Ricky Hudgens kind of waiting in the wings. Definitely wouldn't be surprised to see Daniel, even though, you know, I think the person that probably got hurt the most out of that was probably Daniel Hendry. You know, was up in the lead, doing such a great job, had such a good long run car. Do you think that he's going to get to that point in the run where he's going to be able to get back up to these guys and maybe take the lead again, or do you think he's just kind of in a bad position?
I can't. He worked his way through the field in that initial start that we had, so I think he'll be able to do it again. The problem right now is that he has the 99 Michael Hayes and like 7 of Joshua Slade and Michael Thorpe, who's now taking over the lead. This is crunch time, so now it's not going to be as easy to get around these drivers. They're not going to give you as much room as they would in the beginning of the race.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it right now, the way Joshua Slade's holding his pace right now, I mean, he's right on the back bumper of Michael Thorpe. I don't think he is on a deficit of tires. I think that just the way that caution came out, I think he was probably in the process of his pit stop when that caution came out and just did not go a lap down and managed to be ahead of everybody. So that's interesting to see how that worked out.
Definitely showing that Slade has taken tires.
Yeah, I mean, looks like he's going to try to go underneath. I thought maybe he was getting loose there. Oh, getting really close to Michael Thorpe. That was scary. I thought for sure they were getting ready to tussle there.
Like we just said, we're getting down to crunch time now.
Yeah, this is when the gloves are coming off. I'd say that is 100%.
Yeah, there's no longer being nice. There's no longer being. They're 7 and 34.
They're trading blows. I'm telling you, this is a title fight right now.
And the people that are right behind them are loving it because Mike Hayes right there in third place and Daniel Hendry. They want to see those two guys battle because that's just bringing them closer and closer to getting right back into this.
I almost hear the Jaws theme starting to play right now.
Yeah. Oh, Michael Thorpe. And
getting really high on the racetrack.
I think that was the result of him and Joshua Slade battling those laps. He got high going into the turn and wasn't able to bring it back down.
And that caution definitely hurt some guys' race. I mean, one in particular I'd say would be Derek Rice. I mean, he was having such a great day and is now all the way back in 9th place. Now falling back to 10th is Jeremy Coors. Even though Coors, smashed his race car on Steve Gerber, he's still looking pretty fast.
Yeah, Steve Gerber, on the other hand, is definitely not looking fast. Just coming out of the pits once again.
Man, usually you see an accident like that, both parties are going to be fairly hurt.
Yeah, Michael Thorpe again up there at up to 7's back door, trying to challenge again for the lead.
Joshua Slade, in the perfect position here. He has a good chance to win this thing. I mean, he really does. And we've seen him that he has definitely some long run pace too. So, I mean, if he could just hold off right now, I think he could hold off Michael Thorpe. But knowing Michael Thorpe, he's not going to be content to sit here and ride behind that 7 car.
Yeah, they're definitely going to leave everything out on that track in these next 28 or so laps that we have left in this race. And I mean, it's even though we've had 3 or 4 cautions, the racing has been good. The racing has been fast, and we almost got everything in the book with Michael Thorpe looking on the inside of Joshua Slade for the lead.
Can he get it though? I mean, it was seen this time and time again, just not able to get that pass done on the bottom. But it looks like he's going to sail it right in and almost gets clear. Just so close. Almost, could have gotten a slide job in on him, but just I wouldn't risk that. I mean, I would not risk a slide job right now.
I think he would have. There he goes. He's able to make that pass. That one, I definitely would not have done a slide because it would definitely have took off.
Made Joshua Slade mad. Then you're at his at his mercy, really. I mean, because you slide job on somebody and they don't lift, you're going to have yourself a problem.
Oh yeah, I mean, I always tell people if you're gonna, I don't care if you slide job me, just make sure you get clearance because I'm not coming off the accelerator.
That's right, 100%. I mean, it's an equation. Essentially, there's two people a part of that equation. If one person does not agree with what's going on right now, there's going to be a bad thing happening.
Exactly. Oh,
It looks like Joshua Slade right there, still staying right there on Michael Thorpe. So this is still anybody's race, as we see Michael Hayes and Daniel Hendry really starting to catch up to these guys. Also, looking at their lap times, they're about a tenth faster. But we know that Daniel has got the car that has just been magnificent on the long run. And, I think he's just going to have just enough time to maybe utilize that. But really close racing side by side for the lead still.
I mean, good hard racing right now. I mean, I would hate for anything to happen right now to either one of these drivers up here over racing. Thorpe and Slade have both been with us for a very long time, and I'm glad to see them up here battling for the lead. But I mean, it's this racing. The closer you get, is just so exciting that like. Coming towards the checkered flag, I guarantee you these guys are going to be beating and banging on each other.
Oh yeah, I definitely think that is going to be happening, and could see some guys spinning across the line. We've seen it before, and we'll probably see it again. Maybe somebody can even win the race going backwards. You never know.
But right now, the biggest beneficiary to these guys. Up here in the front, the first two guys battling each other for this lead are the third place and the fourth place of Mike Hayes and Daniel Hendry. They've taken off a whole second off of that lead that those two drivers had on the third and fourth place runners so far. So those guys are looking to make this another four-way battle for the lead coming towards the checkered flag.
Yeah, and even though we are getting to the later stages of this race, still plenty of time for sure for these guys to make their moves and be patient, work their way forward. But I'll tell you what, is when we get 10 laps to go, when we get to 5 laps to go, that's when the excitement's going to get crazy here. Daniel Hendry hitting the outside wall. You saw he was able to save that machine, but that could hurt his chances here. Any kind of damage, we've seen it, in this race. Any damage can really affect your handling. Could that little contact with the wall taken away his long run potential?
You go up there and hit that wall, and your alignment can be knocked off. Your toe can be knocked off, and that plays a toll on that steering. If your steering is not right, if your steering changes from what you've been racing all day long, your car will not turn the way it used to.
100%.
But Ricky Hudgens back here in 5th place, racing with the lap car of Chris Basinger. Behind him, Chuck Cobb. And those are the last guys, those 6 cars on the lead lap here. And
those guys that are lapped down right now, they have got to be hoping for a caution. They need something to happen to get them back on the lead lap. Like I said, that accident that we saw between Steve Gerber and Jeremy Coors really just threw a wrench in a lot of these guys' races. I mean, you hate it when it happens like that, when a caution comes out right after everybody's done their green flag pit stops and they're lapped down. I mean, that is just the worst feeling ever when, just a victim of circumstance. What are you supposed to do? I mean, you didn't have nothing to do with that, but it's still affecting your race.
Oh, yeah. I mean, every time we get into these cars or these trucks in this simulated world, here we take the chance of getting involved in somebody else's mess. I mean, that's just the way it is. There's nothing you can do to change it other than to be a little bit more aware of what's around you and who's around you and how they drive and do they have the potential of messing you up. And you just got to be aware out there on the track. But it sucks when you're racing and you're doing a good race and you're up front, such like Tristan Evil. Was running a good race in the early beginning. He gets involved, and somebody else, somebody messes up, car breaks, and pushes him right into the wall. So, you know, drivers out there definitely need to be aware of their surroundings.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely have to be aware of your surroundings. You put yourself, sometimes I like to say it, sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield, and Tristan Evil in that case was the windshield, or he was the bug,
Yeah, he was definitely the bug. Definitely the bug. I hate to see, he last week's winner, just, if it ends the way it is right now, he's going to come home 16th place. Is not a finish that he wants on his resume. But at the line, we'll have 15 laps to go. Joshua Slade leading Michael Thorpe, Michael Hayes, and Daniel Hendry.
It looks like Hayes bobbling a little bit off that last corner there. Could help Daniel Hendry to be able to make something happen, though. But we did see him scrape the wall. Doesn't look like too much damage on that right side, but still could affect his machine. Looks like it hasn't affected him that much, as he is really starting to lay into Michael Hayes. But Joshua Slade, really just a surprise of the night. I mean, we saw him with such a risky call, and I think that's what, that's Vegas. Vegas odds, baby. I mean, he took a risky gamble, and it has really worked out well for him. I mean, he definitely, he's got the flush right now. He's got the best hand of the night right now.
Right now, he's in the catbird seat. Like you said, he's got the best hand. It's his race to lose, but right now, Daniel Hendry putting pressure on Mike Hayes for that third spot. It looks like here next turn or two, he might be able to finish that. But he's on a mission right there. He just passes.
Made that pass look easy.
Yeah, made the pass look easy. Now he's going to set his sights on Michael Thorpe. And I don't know if he has enough laps to get Joshua Slade. He's, what is it, about a second and a half back from Joshua Slade, but a half a second behind Michael Thorpe. So second place is definitely on the table for him.
Yeah, no, this race really is counting down. I mean, this has been a long, you would say this has been a long race. I mean, 300 miles is not short by any regards, but I mean, I'd say it's gone by fairly quickly. I mean, we've been broadcasting for about 2 hours now, and, for a 300-mile race, you expect way longer than that, so just got to, give a hand to everybody out here on this racetrack, for putting on such a great show.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was definitely. I'm sorry, I got people yelling at me here. Those damn squirrels keep on running around here, but I gotta stop looking at my messages. Well, yeah, right now, I mean, Daniel Hendry is definitely putting the pedal.
Putting
down.
the hammer down.
Yeah, putting the pedal down and trying to catch that second place. We're gonna have 10 laps to go at the line, and this, ladies and gentlemen, you just don't understand. This was 200 laps of a mile and a half. That's 325 laps or 325.
I think that's 300 miles, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 300 miles.
I thought so. Yeah, you're right. 300. Yeah, it'd be 300 miles exactly. I mean,
and this is a full-length Xfinity race. I mean, this is what those guys in real life do. Okay. So, I mean, this is quite the undertaking. I mean, you have to have a lot of endurance, to be able to be focused for this long, too, is quite a difficult task indeed. Especially, I mean, you got to think these guys have got to be starting to get a little sore. A little wore out, wouldn't you?
I mean, yeah, I'm getting sore just calling the race. I mean,
yeah, working my mouth muscles.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're definitely looking forward to doing this all over again tomorrow for the Dale Brooks Senior Classic.
Oh yeah, definitely one of the crown jewel races, I'd say, of the Global Racing League.
Yeah, it's right up there with your Daytonas and your Talladegas and your Bristols and your Atlanta races. I mean, it's don't matter what track that the Dale Brooks Senior Classic falls on, it's a big race for us.
And Daniel Hendry really has started to really catch up here to Michael Thorpe. Thorpe probably not going to let it go easy, but we've seen, Hendry has just had such pace.
Definitely. Like Michael Thorpe is, he's not going to race the guy dirty by no means, but he's not going to make it easy for Daniel Hendry to just pull.
Not going to make it look easy.
Yeah, like he did with he made it look easy on Michael Hayes, but Michael Hayes definitely has that damage on that right side, where I think Thorpe has a pretty clean car. But here we go, race for second. Daniel Hendry getting a nose underneath Michael Thorpe, coming to through the tri-oval, going into. Oh, sorry, that wasn't the tri-oval.
Yep, out of 2 right now. These guys are still side by side now on the back stretch, really giving each other, pinching. I see that Daniel Hendry trying to pinch Michael Thorpe up as high as he can, trying to get as much, of that arc he can into the corner. I mean, very smart racing here from Daniel Hendry. This is when, like we said, the gloves are off right now. This is when, you're not going to be giving each other room. There's not a lot of give and take going to be happening, but Daniel Hendry is able to get out in front.
Ooh.
Michael Thorpe giving him a little bit of a bump there, a little shot.
There you see it. That pitching somebody up is the counter attack for somebody pinching you down going into the turn. If you can keep that car on that top side all the way up on that top side, then you're able to get a little bit more, like you said, of an arc going into the turn and get a little bit more advantage coming out of the turns. But
100%, but I don't know if he's going to have time, though, to catch up to Joshua Slade, though, considering right now I do believe we have 4 laps remaining.
Yep, you're right. 4 laps to go, and we're going to crown a winner. Hopefully no yellows and come out. We're able to finish this in regulation time, because it's been an exciting race. I don't think we need any more racing.
For sure. Would be something, though. If we got a green-white checker, that would really turn up the heat. I'm sure these guys don't want the heat turned up anymore, though. I think the heat's already been turned up enough.
Well, here you go. You Las Vegas. We're at Las Vegas, and this is one city that if you told me it never sleeps, I would believe you. But there is nothing but heat in Las Vegas. In real life, there's snow today, but it was probably
in Vegas.
That's what I heard that it was snowing in Vegas today.
No one in Vegas.
I just thought somebody might have dropped the bag of cocaine and it got caught in the wind, and somebody thought it was snow.
The Performance Photo Network does not condone what Michael Lester just said.
It's Sin City, so you kind of expect it. 2 laps to go. Joshua Slade out front, and that number 7, I can't make out his sponsor, but it's a smiley face.
Now, One of One Motorsports definitely throwing back to his trucks team, and now the white flag is out. I think it's all but pretty much said here that he's going to win this race if he could just make it to the last couple corners here. He's on the back stretch. I don't think Hendry has a chance. It's just too much distance. No matter how fast Hendry is, he was a 10th faster last time by. Just not going to have it to be able to get it, but still great. For his first start in the Xfinity Series, getting the 2nd place, definitely earned that 2nd place finish. And Joshua Slade earns the win.
Joshua Slade, Daniel Hendry, and Michael Thorpe, your top 3 finishers of the night, with a big win going to William Brown Motorsports.
Ricky Hudgens going to come home in 5th place. And it looks like I do believe Chuck Cobb going to come home in 6th. And those are the guys that are on the lap down. 7th place is going to belong to Christopher Bossinger. 8th place is going to be belonging to Jeff Weimer. 9th place is going to belong to Jeremy Coors. 10th place, Derek Rice.
11th place is Don Blazer. 12th place goes to Stephen Hayes. 13th place goes to Stephen Gerber. 14th is Ricky Montgomery. 15th, EJ Luna. 16th, Tristan Evil. 17th, David Halsey. Brian Ricker is 18th. And I do believe that's going to round us out. Man, I hate it for Brian Ricker. Had a good car early on, and something broke in his car. It looked like too, hitting the wall and then taking out David Halsey as well. But Brian Ricker gonna come home 18th.
Joshua Slade doing a well-deserved burnout out there, tearing it up. And we saw him just, been struggling for sure. And this is the turnaround that someone needs. I mean, what kind of momentum does this do for someone's season? I mean, this has got to be big for him, a big confidence booster.
Well, definitely a big confidence booster. It's gonna give him momentum going into these rest of these 1.5 mile tracks. We got Atlanta coming up, which is another good 1.5 mile track. Or yeah, I think it's 1.5 mile. But
I think we got Phoenix too, don't we?
We got Phoenix coming up too. I believe Phoenix is a 1.5 track as well with the dog leg in it now. Yeah, so
for sure. I don't think it's a 1.5, but it's more on the. I think it's a mile. I do believe
it might be a mile. Phoenix is one of those weird ones that I never keep track of. But yeah, it definitely gives them momentum going into these next couple of races. Especially gives you momentum when you got to come back to a 1.5 mile track that's such a that's similar to Las Vegas, like your Atlantas, your Charlottes, Texas. Definitely gives you the momentum going into these races, knowing that you've got this win under your belt.
All right, well, I guess we'll go ahead and kick off the celebrations here for the end of this race, the post-race show starting now. We have Michael Thorpe up in the booth. Mr. Thorpe, excellent work out there, man. I know it didn't probably go the way you kind of wanted it to. Third place, still a great finish for you, though, and definitely going to be good for the team. How are you feeling after that one?
Well, you're right. I'm not happy with the third place finish, but I'll take it. I feel like I had a winning car all race long. It's just wasn't our day. Is gotta move on next, and move on to the next race, and hopefully, do whatever I can if get the win.
Yeah, definitely got to do whatever you can to try to get the win, and you definitely had a lot of pace out there. Just found yourself and just having to fight too much. I mean, it was just so difficult to pass out there, and once you gotten into some fighting, that's whenever it was more and more difficult to make those passes and work your way forward. Considering get side by side here, it slows you down quite a bit. Did you make any adjustments to try to help that car as this race went on?
Some pressure adjustments, just small minor adjustments. They kind of have the car turning a little better and get a little loose off the corner, get around.
Well, definitely love to watch you work out there. Excellent job here tonight. Third place, even though, like you said, not where you wanted to finish. Still was you made the show interesting, that's for sure. You definitely didn't make it easy on these guys. What was somewhat of a title fight out there between a lot of drivers. Surprised to see Joshua Slade come out on top. I mean, anything could have happened here. I think anybody was in contention to win. Do you feel like you're going to have a good showing here coming up in Phoenix next week?
Phoenix in the last season, the trucks actually ran pretty well. So I think if I keep my nose clean, I think I can do it. Just gotta keep my nose clean and run hard and make good decisions.
That's pretty much the name of the game. Make good decisions, and we'll have to wait and see how that goes for you. I know earlier in the race, one thing that kind of just stuck in my mind is we saw you go a lap down. Was that based on a speeding penalty?
It was not. I actually received some damage around lap 104. Not really. That pretty much ruined my race.
Yeah, we saw that. We was wondering if you got a penalty, but it looks like you didn't. But yeah, you came back and finished third. So I mean, hey, could have been way worse. We saw a lot of guys collecting even more damage out there. After this third place finish, who can we shout out for you?
Definitely the Dirt Side Motorsport guys and University of Northwestern Ohio. I'll be going to that school pretty soon. Then shout out the GGA team. And wish them luck tomorrow at the truck race.
We'll definitely wish them luck also, and wish you luck next week at Phoenix. And know you'll be tuning in tomorrow night, so or tomorrow I should say, and can't wait to see you commenting there. I know you're going to be shouting out, and really cheering on your team. Congratulations on your third place finish, man. Look forward to talking to you soon.
Yep.
That was Michael Thorpe, our third place finisher tonight, and now we are joined in the booth by Daniel Hendry. And Mr. Lester, I'll let you take care of this.
Man, I appreciate that. Daniel Hendry, Mike Westner booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha.
Man, you your first race with Global Racing Xfinity Series or Global Racing altogether, man, you led a lot of the laps. You were one of the top cars, and if you had probably about 5 or 6 more laps, you might have been able to pass Joshua Slade. Congratulations on a second place finish, man. Walk us through these last couple laps and or walk us through the race and how was your car and what do you think about the racing out there?
I mean, the set was, we were about dead on with the setup. It just, we had really great short run speed, and then we lost a little bit in the mid run, and then we were a ball of fire on the long run, and that's what caught me right there at the end, was right in that range of when my car was getting better. So it that burned us a little bit, but definitely have to throw a big shout out to Team Lunatic, Martin Sports, Moonlight Speed Concepts for everything they've done and we continue to do. I've got a really good team around me and can't be thankful enough to be able to just jump in, grab a set, and go like that.
Well, it's definitely a good. We talked about it earlier in the race, or in the beginning of the race, about the setups is the key to getting around this track. Your setup, I guess, you're gonna give credit to your setup for that long run, because the green flags. If we had a green flag pit stops, you were always up front. You always had that long run. What setup?
Yeah, I stepped on myself a little bit though. I went in a little bit hot, and I've been having issues with the brake pedal, but I won't put the blame on that. I just burnt the entry on pit road and got a speeding penalty right there before that second to last caution. So that set me in the back, and put us back behind the 8 ball there for that last 30 laps.
Okay, definitely issues with speeding on pit road has been like a talk, kind of like the talk of the pre-race meeting, that you had to be really careful because either you're going to speed down pit road or you're going to brake too hard and you're going to lose it going into pit road. You're saying that you had problems with the speeding part, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I went and hit pit road, and I don't know whether my brake glitched out or what, but it burned it by like 3 mile an hour going to the entry. So it and then I went to stop in my box and just slap through it, so it kind of sucked, but it is what it is. Learning experience. You got to blame it on something.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a learning experience, but I mean, hey, this is your first start with us over here in Global Racing, and you came home second, so I mean, you definitely you came in with a couple of punches to your credit, and like some good jabs, and you let everybody know that you were here and that you were serious.
Definitely the speed and everything we had going on. I kind of it's a bittersweet ending right there, being second. I can't lie about it. I am still a little sour about it.
Yeah. Well, most drivers, most winners are sour about a second place finish. So, but you gave a shout out to your team there, and you gave a shout out to the setup shop and a couple other people. Is there anybody else you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Martin Sports Apparel. I do apologize to everybody for the inadvertent shout out to Toyota on my car. That was a oversight on my part. So, other than that, I think we're good to go.
All right. Well, that's Daniel Hendry, your second place finisher tonight, man. Congratulations, and we're going to send you back down to what is your team name? Lunatic, right? Yeah, Lunatic Racing. Congratulations once again, and look forward to talking to you again. All right. Well, Brian, there's only one person left to talk to, and I'm gonna let you have it because obviously my attention is needed somewhere. But before I go, Joshua Slade, man, great race, and congratulations.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It looks like you had the hot hand. You know, we called this thing the all-in 300. Well, I think you put all your chips out for sure, and especially you know, with that run you did. You know, 61 laps. You stayed out longer than anybody we've seen here tonight. You know, what was the thought process behind that?
Honestly, I had to make a gamble on something. You know, it's Vegas. Had to make a gamble on something. I know these guys. They went in and pitted early, so I was just like, all right. I looked at my fuel calculator. I had 8 laps left, so I decided to stay out an extra 8 laps to see what I would do in the long run for the next cycle, and it paid off. It got a late caution, paid dividends, and I knew I had a fast.
Just yanks it.
It's better if you show the far chase. You can see it.
That's one of
Show the
Core's
far
guys.
chase.
Yeah.
Watch his car yank over.
Just trying to wreck
Alright,
me.
save
Like, watch his bitch ass. First off, he takes me in the wall. 2 laps down. 2 laps down, okay? He goes low.
Stephen
Right.
Hayes did the same shit to Gerb and me.
Oh, I know. I watched him do it to Gerb.
His brother did it to me. Michael.
He fucking doored.
Gets
Thor
me
went
there.
into the wall.
Yeah, Michael Hayes doored fucking Thor.
So
Oh,
I
I'm
passed
finna show you.
this motherfucker here.
Let me see it, Thorpe. You got it?
I'm about to now. I was looking at Slade's stuff, but he pretty much crowded me up the track. He doored me. That's why I went up high.
Right hand, you had the flush. So definitely, you got to feel really good about that. I mean, how are you going to celebrate this victory here tonight?
Oh, get ready for next week. Get ready for tomorrow. Actually, we'll be right back here tomorrow for the truck race. So no time to celebrate until after Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. No time to celebrate. You got to get ready for the next race for sure. Definitely look forward to seeing tomorrow for sure. The Dale Brooks Senior Classic going to be right here at this same racetrack. How are you feeling about Phoenix next week, though, when the Xfinity car visits there?
Not confident at all, but we'll figure it out. That's what I tell myself every week. Monday evening when they release the tracking officials, I'm so unconfident in myself, and then I figure it out through the week. So, well, basically, yeah, I'm gonna figure it out and bring something to this track next week.
Well, we definitely look forward to seeing you for sure, and hopefully this really definitely does send your season in the right trajectory, right momentum. You know, you're definitely going to be having all that. Who can we shout out tonight after your victory here?
Yeah, we can shout out William Brown Motorsports, William Brown, Ricky Montgomery, and EJ Luna. Shout out to them. Shout out to you guys in the booth. Shout out to Danny for all the work that she does, and just the league. This is a great league, and I enjoy racing in it. And I love the fact that about this league is if you put the time in, it'll definitely pay off dividends. So I appreciate everyone in this league.
Yeah, definitely a big shout out to the people behind the scenes, such as Kenny Heath and Danny, definitely putting in that work. Unsung heroes, that's for sure. Without them, none of this will be possible. Well, we definitely appreciate your time, Josh, and look forward to seeing what you guys bring to the table in 1-of-1 tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
That is your winner, Joshua Slade. Definitely always love to be able to have him up here. Well, Mr. Lester, and in conclusion, what did you think about the race there?
Oh, the race is very exciting. Man, we had really close, tight knit, or not tight knit, but tight pack racing at sometimes. I mean, you go back and look at that run that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th had. They were right there for most of that first run. Man, it was exciting racing all around the track, and definitely looking forward to seeing what these guys can do at Phoenix, and also seeing what these guys can come back and do at Atlanta.
100%, especially with it being up in the air a little bit on what version of Atlanta it's going to be. I mean, considering they are, have already repaved that track. iRacing, I do believe, may release the new version of Atlanta. I'm not exactly sure. We could see the old version of Atlanta. Either one would be very interesting because, I always love Atlanta, and I'm curious to see what that new version is going to look like. What a great race.
Well, I did get some information earlier today that we are not going to get the new Atlanta on this update. So by the time when they come to Atlanta and we do our Atlanta, it's going to be the old Atlanta, or the Atlanta that we know.
And that's going to be very fun to watch because Atlanta, that's one of those tracks, you know, there's so many bumps and so much character to that racetrack. You got to be really, really careful. And especially with these cars already being so difficult to drive, I think these guys are going to have quite the handful when that comes around. I think they're going to have quite the handful next week at Phoenix. But we definitely appreciate everybody out there listening. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Check us out at 12:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Performance Motor Network. And I do believe Michael Lester also will be streaming from his in-car camera also, right?
I will be attempting to. I was going to do that last week, and I forgot to do it because I was so excited about the race. But I will be doing the in-car camera tomorrow, and so follow me if you want the inside scoop, and listen to Brian while he does the outside scoop.
For sure, we definitely appreciate everyone out there watching. Definitely make sure you like, subscribe, follow Performance Motor Network and Global Racing Esports Network. I mean, just if you want to see some great racing, both of these networks are the places to see it. That's for sure. But we will bid everyone out there adieu. And like we said, we definitely thank everyone out there for watching. And hopefully you'll stick with us and watch some of our other races for sure. And everyone have a